Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
When you think of health, where does your mind go? To the doctor's office? Or to your community, where you can join kids clubs and local events? At your grocery store, where an allowance makes it easier to eat healthy? Or on your street, where a ride is there to take you to the doctor? We're WellPoint, a health insurance company that knows that health isn't just one thing, it's everything. WellPoint, your whole health is our whole point.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Get it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 3,933. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, a Men's Room shot of the day, funnable listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack.
Drinking it drunk. All right, here we go. Chicago family is surprised when an airplane's emergency slide falls on their roof. Meanwhile, an Ohio man doing donuts in front of the police station sees his license go poof. A statue of a bird with big boobs has one Massachusetts town upset. Man who entered a cryathon still can't see right just yet. An Iowa man is arrested trying to steal a wagon full of corn. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, pretty much everywhere in the world that is not the Pacific Northwest is dealing with extreme heat, including Las Vegas, which is hot even during normal times. But on Monday, temperatures in Vegas reached 111 degrees. After some unlucky Delta Airlines passengers, they sat in a plane on the tarmac for 3 hours in 111 degrees. Several passengers and one crew member, they ended up needing medical assistance. But worse than that, multiple passengers who passed out, they also pooped themselves. Multiple people pooped themselves. And pooping yourself is never a good look. On that note, Joe Jonas, he was doing an interview recently where he admitted, not that anyone asked, that he once pooped his own pants, white pants, while on stage. Now, he didn't think anyone noticed, but he's not positive. Basically, to sum it up, he gambled and lost. He thought he had to fart, and he did, but he also had to poop. He just didn't know that part. But at least it was his poop, because if you have to deal with poop, the hope is that it's your own. Earlier this week in Connecticut, a truck leaking human excrement caused a 10-vehicle accident, including a motorcyclist who lost traction and went down in the poop. Authorities say that the poop turned the road into, and I quote, a virtual skating rink. That's a whole lot of turds, and none of them are yours. And those turds, they prove to be dangerous. But unfortunately, pretty much everyone has had an interaction with a turd or other forms of fecal matter that's not their own, and it makes for a real bad day. And that's what today's question is about. Today, we want to know, other than the toilet, what was your poop incident?
Be part of the big show. Call 206-803-ROCK. You can like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Hold the fellas, and away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 3,933. What a large and a charged program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. I don't know how you find these stories of people doing dumb stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But you do each and every week. You pit them up against each other. It's up to us to determine, out of the 3 stories, which one sucks the least. How's this week looking?
You know what? This one isn't even so much about the people involved in the story as much as, we'll just say, the man. The man. So all the 3 of these stories kind of go, all right, which version of the man sucks the most? Okay. Or sucks the least, maybe.
All right. Who Sucks Less is coming up. Also, as we do every Monday through Friday, you get more Men's Room exclusively on the Odyssey app as we head on over for the Men's Room Happy Hour. If you don't have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free. And once you get the app, be sure to sign in, create an account. That way, when you listen, the more you listen, the more chances you have to win. So every single hour that you listen to the show,
Jeez,
like, man, I'm just trying to,
That's what I meant to say.
Tell us your real feelings.
I got all wrong.
Right? Sign into the Odyssey app. We have a chance for you to win tickets to Greta Van Fleet and a backstage tour, along with maybe a chance to win an electric guitar signed by the band. All you have to do is listen and sign in every time you do. And that's if you listen to the Men's Room Happy Hour, listen to the Men's Room Radio, the channel that we curated with nothing but music on it that we got to pick. All of our podcasts are in one place at the Men's Room page. So we'll see you coming up on the Odyssey app for the Men's Room Happy Hour, coming up at 6 o'clock as you get more Men's Room.
I gotta brag.
Okay.
Brand new episode of the podcast. Rapper, actor, Redman.
Redman. Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Redman.
Awesome. And by the way, where can you find the podcast? On the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app. And if you sign in when you listen, you have a chance to win tickets to Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah.
So even more fun right there, Ted.
Just get over there and sign up.
Absolutely. And let's see what else we have today on the
Don't
question.
use your work email, though.
We're going to talk about some bad things that can happen in your life. Unfortunately, you have to deal with them from time to time. But this is a bad one. And things got nasty on I-95 in Connecticut. Now, if you don't know, this is the busiest stretch of interstate that runs through the entire state. So if you want to get from the west to the east side of Connecticut, there's basically one major interstate. Everything else is 2-lane road and a bunch of crap. So traffic got nasty on a stretch of I-95 in Connecticut on Monday night, quite literally. A northbound tractor trailer that was leaking human excrement as it traveled caused a number of crashes around 10:30 at night, with police saying that not 1, not 2, not 3, but 10 vehicles ended up being impacted by the waste. Impacted.
I wondered if they used that on purpose when I read that.
They must have.
Impacted. New York Daily News describes the leaking feces as turning a portion of I-95 into a virtual skating rink. A motorcyclist was injured after losing traction on his bike due to the slickness of the road.
I feel worse for him, man.
He was hospitalized with minor injuries. 2 unoccupied state trooper cruisers were hit when passing vehicles, lost control. The northbound section of the highway closed for 3 hours. Fortunately, it happened at 10:30 at night on a Monday. Either way, it's 95. It's a pain in the ass. That road is busy all of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, if you're trying to get to Massachusetts, anywhere up and down the East Coast, north or south,
Boston,
you got to get on I-95.
New York, you name it, whatever direction you're coming from. That's the way. Police have identified the driver of the leaky truck as one Shaky Joseph.
Shaky Joseph?
Shaky Joseph, yes.
Wait a minute, come on.
Yeah, he's the driver.
God,
Shaky Joseph was driving a poop truck. The press release claims that Joseph was aware of the leak, but continued driving. The AP reports that witnesses told Trooper the name Highstone and Son appeared on the truck. Authorities contacted the Connecticut-based company, which in turn contacted the driver. Joseph was told by his employee to pull over his tractor trailer and wait for the state police, reads a second press release. He was arrested and charged with reckless driving, reckless endangerment, and failing to secure a load. He posted $25,000 bail. Daily News reports $25,000. Daily News reports the Highstone and Sons website states, we transport over 50 loads per day of liquefied products between New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. 10 cars, 1 guy on a motorcycle. God, could not keep it together. Now, you get involved in that situation. This might be a worse situation. Delta Flight 555 Might have felt more like Flight 666 for those who attempted to take it on Monday. The Atlanta-bound plane did not end up leaving Las Vegas after passengers and at least one crew member needed medical assistance due to uncomfortable temperatures, to say the least, on the plane while it was on the tarmac. It was there for 3 hours. NBC News reports passenger Krista Garvin tweeted about her insane experience, writing there was initial delay because they were waiting on a flight attendant.
All right.
Then we finally board and sit for almost 3 hours on a hot plane in 111-degree weather. Keep in mind, this is in Las Vegas.
Right.
On the tarmac, on the concrete.
Brutal.
It's 111 degrees outside. Now, keep in mind, planes do pretty well on the ground, but there's a reason that all the blinds stay shut. As far as the air goes, it does a lot better when you reach a higher altitude. The plane can cool down a little bit.
But I don't think they can even turn on the air on the plane unless the engines are fired up.
Could be. So now we're heading back to the gate because people are passing out. Fox News added this uncomfortable detail. Multiple passengers had passed out. Some had soiled themselves. Garvin tweeted the paramedics had arrived and at least 5 people were wheeled off the plane. A passenger and a flight attendant were reportedly taken to an area hospital. Delta had this to say. We apologize for the experience our customers had on Flight 555. Delta teams are looking into the circumstances that led to the uncomfortable temperatures inside the cabin. We appreciate the efforts of our people and first responders at Area International. The uncomfortable temperatures, the circumstances. You were on the tarmac for 3 hours
in Las Vegas
in 11-degree weather.
They said they're going to investigate why it was uncomfortable because you can't turn on the air conditioning until you fire up the engines, and it's 111 degrees. I said, "What is the mystery?"
I'm no rocket scientist. I'm no detective. I'll save you the time.
Right.
That's all it's right there. You're right there in the story.
It was hot. They were on the plane. People passed out. That's what happened. We're going to investigate. Yeah. It's called the weather.
Well, what you need to investigate is why the people did not get off the plane and what you were waiting for and why the plane could not take off and what was the real reason for it.
Right.
Because we all know one thing about air travel. They do their best to just make you feel better about any situation. Half the time, it's BS.
Of course.
Anytime you look at a TikTok video of someone who's a flight attendant, they will tell you, if we tell you something, more than likely, that is not factual.
Right.
We're just trying to make sure that you just calm down, relax, and everything is eventually going to be all right. We might need a small part for the plane. There's all kinds of things that could possibly go wrong. Very rarely are they going to tell you.
No, because they don't want something to panic.
No. I had a situation where they basically canceled my flight from, I believe, Charlotte, North Carolina, into Charleston, West Virginia. This would not be a big deal, but I'd already flown from Seattle to Charlotte. I get there, and I need to make this flight because it's the only flight into the town of West Virginia that I'm going to.
Right.
It's my grandfather's funeral. So I am in the airport. They inform me that no planes are landing at Charleston Yeager International Airport or National Airport because they don't have an air traffic controller because he got sick. All right.
There's only one that works on it.
Right. Yeah.
They have one dude that works on it.
I will take that. At least that's a real problem.
Okay.
I accept that. Go like, I don't want to be in the air if you don't have someone at air traffic.
All right. Well, so there was already a delay. Now, this had been going on for about 2 hours. So the plane was just sitting on the runway.
Right.
They're still waiting to take off. The flight itself from Charlotte to Charleston is 45 minutes.
Right, exactly.
At the airport is my sister in her car waiting to pick me up to take me the rest of the way to my mom and my grandmother's house, which is about 2 hours away from the airport. She's at Yeager Airport.
Right.
So I call her and I say, Nat, I said, are planes taking off and landing? She's like, yeah, I'm actually. Tudor's Biscuit World was a bar.
Tudor's Biscuit World?
You could go to this restaurant inside the airport, and they also had a bar on the side, but it was outside of the gates.
Okay, yeah.
So people would go there to pick up breakfast or whatever, but you could go to the airport. You could watch the planes take off and land. I said, hey. She's like, yeah, somebody's boarding right now, and a plane just landed. So I go to the front gate, and I said, hey, my sister's at the airport. Planes are taking off and landing just fine. There's a problem with the plane. That was the next excuse they gave me. And I'm like, you guys.
Come on, man.
You guys. Like, come on. I believe they did not sell enough tickets for the flight. Therefore, they just did not want to fly the plane.
Just say it.
That's all you have to do is say that.
Right.
And then I will go and try to find another way there. Either way, it was BS. Complete BS. So they told these people a bunch of crap.
Right, and that's not trying to make you feel better. That's just lying.
Yeah, that's a straight up lie.
Correct.
You make me feel better if I'm on a flight and I feel like the engine's on fire. Hey, don't even worry about it. I've got 3 perfectly functional engines. Meanwhile, you hear the co-pilot in the background. We're down to 1. You know, I understand that. But right at the airport, man, just give me the truth. Right? Because I'm trying to get somewhere.
Right, that's
I
the
can
thing.
make other... When I'm on the plane, it's not like I can just open the door and jump the hell out at 30,000 feet. But at the airport, I can make different arrangements to get where I'm going, if need be. Or wait it out, and I'll go to the bar and wait. It's fine. Just give me a heads up.
It is cool, though, when you fly over your home and you think to yourself, man, wouldn't it be cool if I could just open this
jump
door,
the hell out,
parachute out right now, man. I just bring a backpack with me instead of a carry-on. Just get the hell out of there. I fly over my house every single time.
Oh, we did too. It's part of the flight pattern. I'm like, there
I
it
look
is.
down like, I could just jump right now.
It says we're landing in SeaTac. It's like an hour to get our luggage.
Right.
You know, it's like, God damn it.
That's always my question.
That's the worst
What is worse? Waiting on the tarmac before you take off or after? Because that's where I start losing my
I
ass.
think it's worse after.
All right, I'm with you.
Because before, I haven't gone anywhere yet. Yeah, I want to get things moving along, but it's like, all right. But yeah, after we've landed, like, I've been stuck on this plane. I want to get the hell off of this plane. Yeah, get me the hell off the plane.
That's it. Now, this is a cautionary tale as well, because you can't control what the plane does. You can't control if someone's spilling poop all over the street. But if you're going to do drugs, they say that's on you. At least find a toilet when you need to do your business. A dog walker named Chris Johnson in London posted about his experience on Facebook. He said that when a client's large breed dog was walking near a lake, the dog came across some fecal matter and decided to sample the goods, as some dogs do. The client then said their dog got really sick that night and had to go to the vet. The vet told them they were pretty sure that the poop came from someone who does a lot of meth. If a smaller dog had eaten the poop, it more than likely would have died.
It would have OD'd.
It would have. Chris posted about it to let other people in the area know. At least one other person had a similar story about their own dog. The same thing happened to theirs. It turns out people go fishing at the lake they were next to and like to use the woods as a toilet. And a lot of those people who are fishing there and a lot of the people around that area like to do a lot of methamphetamines.
Huh. Damn. Dog ate it, got stoned.
Pretty much. Our question, other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Fishing and meth don't seem like they go exactly hand in hand. You got to be pretty patient when you're fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm just saying, meth heads don't strike me as being like at the height of patience.
Yeah, it's like
Very
Well,
fidgety.
they're probably using lures then. You know what I mean? They just need to keep reeling in. They probably need the
Right,
action.
just keep-
They're not dropping
You're right. You're not putting a bobber in there.
No. You're
This
working-
isn't trout fishing.
No, you're working some kind of a jig, you know?
Real fast, right?
I can't even keep up with that damn weedless frog.
I mean, that's why you crack a couple beers, a little puff.
Exactly.
Fishing.
Yeah,
It's the fastest rooster tail I've ever seen. I'm not going after that.
Hello, Juan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Well, I have two short stories.
All right.
So both of these stories occur when I was living in Puerto Rico as a young kid. The first one is we had to go get after school. We had to get a ride from my grandmother. So we get a ride from my grandmother. We go to the store to get something to eat, and I'm like, I gotta go. Everybody's pretty much laughing at me, just like, hold it. And I remember walking down an aisle, and I'm like, I can't hold it any longer. And it was so involuntary, it was funny, because I could feel like this ball of poop literally like build up in my underwear, and you could literally see it from the outside.
How old were you at this point, you said?
I was 10, 11, somewhere around there. And so I had to run to the bathroom, or waddle to the bathroom, take my underwear off, and basically just throw it away.
Did you at least?
Of course.
Did you drop
Of course, I was the butt of the joke.
Did you
the whole
drop
way
the
home.
poop into the toilet and then throw the underwear away, or did you just throw the whole thing into the trash can?
I just threw the whole thing into the trash. I didn't even bother emptying it or anything. The second time was when, again, in Puerto Rico, we were out camping in the rainforest up there in the El Yunque. And, of course, there's no toilets or toilet paper or anything.
No, there's just a million snakes.
No, not in Puerto Rico.
Really?
There's no snakes in Puerto Rico.
God, I thought they were all over that mountain.
I should go.
I would say Ted is like, sign me up.
So I remember climbing up this hill to go up the top of this waterfall, and I'm like, oh, here's the urge. And, of course, there's no toilet paper, so everybody tells me, well, just go around that tree and use a leaf. So I went on ahead, dropped trowel, did my business, used a leaf, but of course, I don't know what kind of leaf I used.
No.
Yeah. So I wiped, I went on my way, and all of a sudden I feel like this burning starting in my nether regions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like burning. Of course, there's no soap, so I jump in the water and I try to clean myself as best as possible, but that burning never ended until we got home.
What do you think the plant was?
I have no idea, but I remember it was like this one big, like, banana-type plant, big leaf.
Yeah,
I
right.
just remember it was a huge leaf.
That's what I grabbed.
I mean, yeah, that's the first thing I go for.
Exactly.
And you have no idea what kind of plant it was?
No, I could picture it in my head, but I have no idea what it was. And I swear the moral of the story is always carry toilet paper or go when you have to.
Yeah. What are the big leaves in Washington you occasionally see that I don't know if they're dangerous or not, like a skunk plant?
Big leaves in Washington.
Have you ever seen those like in a tropical rainforest? They have those big skunk plants. And I don't know if you're not allowed to touch them or they're a little bit weird or I can't remember.
I'm not picturing
Maybe they
this.
just make you stink or maybe they're poisonous. I'm not sure what the deal is. But they have
Big
huge
leaves.
Yeah, huge leaves.
Huh.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just don't wipe your butt with them. Other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Interesting text here says, I was at Long Beach, Washington about 9 years ago. Really had to drop a deuce, but I was in the ocean and about 1.5 miles away from the closest bathroom. I made the executive decision to drop one in the ocean. And it followed me all the way back to shore afterwards. So my family was really confused why I was running back to shore. And then they saw the quote-unquote Loch Ness monster chasing me. They still won't let me live it down to this day. I was about 13 at the time.
Oh, that was a smart move anyway.
Yeah, why not poop in the ocean?
Where else are you going to do?
I must where fish go.
Yeah, what are you going to dig a hole in the sand and do it in front of everybody else?
Look, man, if you told me, hey, man, I just went out in the ocean and pooped, I wouldn't care. If I saw you digging a hole because you thought that was the right thing to do and then pooped and then covered it back up, that's nasty.
River, stream, any kind of moving water,
Moving water.
a lake, I understand it, but it's going to just sit there.
Will it?
Yeah, there's not a lot of current in a lake. I mean, unless it's a very large lake.
Well, I guess here's the thing. It's
Pond, lake, the water doesn't typically move a lot.
It's hard to know if your deuce is going to be a floater or a sinker. Like, if you knew it was going to be a sinker, you're in the lake, wouldn't matter.
Yeah, you're right.
But if it's a floater, it's like, oh, man, now we have a problem. You know, like, dude.
And typically they say if you eat healthier, the healthier you eat, the more you float.
Oh, yeah?
I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was too much salt, your poop floats.
Too much. That would make sense. Right, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Lauren. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right, that's the mood here. My kid was an infant at the time, still on formula, kind of eating some soft foods, and we both came down with the flu really bad. Worst I've ever had it. And I woke up in the middle of the night. He's still sleeping in the bed with me, and he's thrown up. He's in his diaper. I pick him up real quick. I'm, delirious from fever. Stumbling out of the bed, trying to get him to the bathroom. That was my goal. He's thrown up on my back, and then I feel something warm on my arm. I'm like, oh, what the heck? I look down. He crapped on me. It's leaking out of his diaper. I start throwing up. I'm trying to get to the bathroom. I'm making it through the hallway. And, when it's coming out both ends with the flu, dude, I ended up crapping myself, too, on the way to the bathroom. Dude, it was a nasty scene.
Wow. Like father, like son. Just...
Exactly.
Yeah.
How much of the hallway? How much of the hallway did you have to clean up? Was it that bad?
There was definitely some leakage on the hallway. It was mostly throw up. I mean, he had his diaper on, so some of it made, but there was more of a mess in the bathroom because by the time I started crapping myself, I was on some linoleum at least.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
God almighty, dude.
Whenever the Miles, the dog, would get sick, he would stand at the top of the stairs and give you the look like, I need to go now.
Right.
And you could tell that he had to poop. There were a couple times where as soon as he put his first step down the stairs, he started to have diarrhea.
Oh, no.
And this was every single step on the way down to the front door, including the welcome mat. I mean, it was just a trail of fecal matter. And keep in mind, my steps are carpeted.
I was saying you have carpeted stairs.
So it wasn't just the actual step; it was the back of the step too. Because as he was going down, he was just shooting it. So it wasn't just on the place where you put your foot; it was on the backsplash.
Why do you think the dog waited that long to give you the cue?
This was his game. He would never let you know when he needed to use the bathroom up until the last minute. He would come up
like a child
and lean his head
like
into
a child.
you.
This was his game.
You had 5 seconds to get him out the door. He would not give you any warning. It was just what he did. It drove me crazy.
Yes, that would, at least with my dog.
Because typically,
my dog will stare, like, I'll be sitting on the sofa and she just stares at me. Now, if she's on the sofa staring at me, she wants her belly rubbed. If she's on the floor staring up at me, like, we need to go outside.
Well, that's good. At least
that's what I want.
You know the cues.
And she can wait, it takes 5 minutes, get it all together. She's fine. She's just letting me know.
I would be in my underwear, sitting there with no shirt on, watching television. She would lean to me. I'd run upstairs as fast as I could, grab my flip-flops, grab my shirt, grab my shorts, put them on as fast as I can, run back down. By the time I get down there, he's peeing all over the front door. Just I couldn't make it, man. I left without you.
So sorry.
Why did you go up that way? I wanted you to go down that way.
You got to clean up.
I was like, dude.
Clean up I-1, bro.
God, dude, I told you, I was dating a girl. She had a tiny dog. And on Christmas Eve, I had people over, right? Mm-hmm. And we had another dog over there. So the dog crapped on the floor, but we thought the dog just gotten scared.
All right.
Next day is Christmas Day. We're going to go to her family's. Wake up, and there is just diarrhea in the bed.
Oh, no.
He had crapped in the bed. And then, literally on Christmas Day, I had to go get tiny diapers to put around him. But waking up, and of course, because I'm dating somebody, there's like like comforter, duvet, all that crap.
Right.
No pun intended. But it was horrible.
I always laugh when I see a friend of mine, man. He's mostly a cat dude, but when I met him, he had this little ass dog. The dog was like the size of a loaf of bread. Yeah. The dog was already like 8,000 years old when I met it. But the whole time I knew the dog, for about the last 3 years of its life, I guess, always had a diaper on.
Oh, yeah.
And look, I understand if your dog's wearing a diaper, your dog obviously needs to be wearing a diaper. I get it. But it's just such a sad look. Every time this dog came up to me, all I could think, like, sweet dog, but all I could think is, you are so pathetic. You're just like the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. So, fast forward, the dog passes, whatever. They had a cat. He's like, man, the cat's not doing too great. I'm like, well, and I know the man loves his cat. So, next time I go over his house, like 3 weeks later, go to his house. Now the cat and a diaper. And I'm like, brother, do you have pets that don't need diapers? Like, do you go out of, are these all rescues? Do you go out of your way to do this? Is this something you feed them? He's like, no, man, when I got these animals, they were just normal. But for whatever reason, as they got older, specifically his, because I'm like, look, I've had old dogs. They didn't start pooping all over the place. They didn't need diapers. They just got old and eventually died. But I'm like, it's weird, man. So this cat's been in a diaper for about the last 5 years. And same thing every time I look at it, because it's a real friendly cat. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm like, I can't be bothered with you, man. I don't know what it is. You put the diaper on, I don't take you serious.
I was against it, right? I'm like, we don't need to get him diapers. It's a dog. We can take him out. But he had no other way to put it other than violent diarrhea. And by like the second time this had happened before we had like left the house, I was like, I'll go get the diapers.
Yeah, at that point.
Yep.
It's Christmas Day. You got stuff to do.
Right. I need to get some. So when you buy a diaper,
diapers
for a dog, is it a dog diaper or do you just buy infant human diapers?
I just bought infant human diapers and just kind of wrapped it around. He weighed 6 pounds.
Right, I get it.
Yeah, but manhandle.
Ted, you brought up Ocean City, Maryland a minute ago. I took my kids there for a weekend, extended weekend vacation at the beach. So we check into the Econo Lodge. The Econo Lodge, actually not bad. There was a bar there. They have a nice pool, and they also have a kiddie pool, and they have a hot tub. So they have all the
Excellent.
things. And they have all that looks over the beach. So for an Econo Lodge, that's just fine with me. Kids are like 3 or 4 years old, whatever it was. My youngest is playing in the kiddie pool. My other kid has got swimmings on, and she is near the steps and the railing that comes down into the shallow end of the pool. So I walk over. I go check on my youngest. There's like 3 kids in the pool. They all have swimming pull-ups on. I don't know who was responsible, but there was a turd floating in the water that was fairly sizable for kids that age. I don't know how.
Were any of the other kids responding to the turd, or they just kind of worked around?
It was literally like the scene in Caddyshack where it's just floating on top of the water. They're splashing around. I'm like, oh, get out of there.
Right.
So I grabbed her and I went over and I told the lifeguard kid, I was like, dude, there's a turd in the pool. So he goes and he gets the net. He picks it up out of the net and he's looking at it and I'm like, all right, I think he's deciding What do I do with this?
Right now, I got it out of the water.
Do you just put it in a trash can?
I don't know.
Mike, you're a lifeguard.
Because he had that stun. Yeah, like he's a 16-year-old look on his face like, okay, now what?
Now what? So when you you've had to scoop a turd out of a pool.
I have indeed.
Yes, I like that you say it that excited. I have indeed.
What do you do with the turd when it's out of the water? Now that you've got it in the net, I mean, do you just
you keep it in the net so that it's not just flinging all over the place on there, and then you take it into the back, and then you find a trash can.
I mean, like if there was a fence with woods
you don't
in the
put
back,
it in the toilet.
I just fling it out.
Well, yeah, you could put it in the toilet if you wanted to. We had an indoor pool there, Miles, so we didn't have the ability to go over the bushes or anything like that. So yeah, we could put it in the toilet if we wanted to, but you find a garbage can, you find something, man.
How many turds do you think you have netted out of a pool in your lifetime?
Not as many as you'd think with as many years as I put in at that pool, but I did about 2 or 3. Actually, there was one time when I was there, because one thing that we had to do is we had to clean up the bathrooms. We were janitorial as well, right? So I'm cleaning up the bathrooms. I'm the only guy on shift this particular day. So I go and I clean the public restrooms. They're not in the locker rooms or anything like that. There's actually a designated bathroom for like the spectators and whatnot.
Right.
So I go over there and I'm cleaning it out, and it's a very easy cleanup to get that thing done because people don't do what they do nowadays, which is just destroy these places. So I'm picking up little bits of tissue paper, like hand towels, picking those up off the floor, and then I see that there's a big old crumpled up piece right on the back of the toilet.
Yeah.
And so I grabbed that, and I am so thankful for where I grabbed it because it almost looked kind of like a sack lunch sort of a thing.
Okay.
So I grab it from the little top on the handle part, and I pull up on it, and it's got some serious weight to it.
They pooped in it?
And this thing was a doggone paper towel poop taco. So... And that's the whole thing. Like, maybe I was supposed to grab it and just squish it into my hand, and they set it up wrong. But when I grabbed it, I was like, somebody literally grabbed a piece of paper towel, squatted down, caught it, and then just laid it back over there for me.
Bro, just let it go into the toilet.
Right.
Don't be elaborate with these things.
And the thing is that the door was closed. It's not like there's anybody around the corner snickering, waiting for me to get caught by it. There's nobody in there. So somebody thinks that they just pulled a fast one on me, but they're not even there to see my reaction to it.
But I can respect playing the long game. Really, man.
Only if you get the gratification of it.
But you still
with
know
Mike
how
on
it's
this
gonna
one.
end. I don't know, man.
That's just being mean. That's not a prank.
It is, man. Like, imagine setting up a whoopee cushion on a seat, and then you just leave for the day. Just chuckling to yourself like somebody probably sat on that and sounded like they farted.
Because somebody probably did. Like, I don't know that I have to be present for the payoff. Just knowing that somebody probably... Look, one of the things... Okay, put it this way, right? One of the things I love to do, because I'm childish, if I have to fart, I like to fart on the elevator when I know I'm about to get off.
Sure.
Because the elevator stinks.
Indeed.
Now, I do not wait on the elevator for someone to get on so I can, ha-ha! But I have so much satisfaction knowing that someone's going to get on that elevator sooner or later, about a 5-minute window, and just know somebody busted ass in here.
But all right, hear me out. But you got to fart. So you're going to fart either way.
Jesus.
Yes.
Sorry, I just got to get it. But the fact this guy took the time to poop in a paper towel, wrap it up, leave it for the poor lifeguard that happened to be Mike to find it, like, that's different.
That's vindictive.
You got to see that dude's reaction to be like, oh, I got him on that one.
Right.
I know, but I do have to fart, but I could hold it and wait till I get up here, but I don't. I very specifically fart in the elevator because it's funny to me, someone I'm not going to see. I don't know who it's going to be.
You also don't hold your
angry.
farts, is the thing.
I don't. That is fair.
So it's one of those where it's just like you happen to need to fart at a time that makes you smile because somebody's going to be trapped by this.
That is
it
correct.
brings you more satisfaction if you see somebody walk into that elevator as you're leaving, and as the doors close, you're...
It absolutely does.
It makes you so much happier.
That would bring me more satisfaction, but
Right.
I do leave satisfied that I farted and stunk up an elevator, and someone I don't know is going to get in there and be real irritated. And Mike, here's the thing about the
You're
guy
specifically setting the trap.
who wrapped his turd, all right?
Yeah.
All these years of they might listen to the show and be like, ha ha!
Oh, yeah.
I did get him. See, it's the long game.
And you didn't, you jerk.
Other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Parker. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
Hey, so this happened the first time I went fishing with my ex-girlfriend's dad. For a little backstory, he set me up with a pole and rigged it up, and he let me borrow some waders. Well, we were fishing, and we were supposed to fish these 2 different spots and work our way towards each other. Well, and I cast out a couple times, and I get the hook snag like right away. So I'm kind of embarrassed that I got stuck right away. So I spent like half an hour trying to get this thing unstuck. And all of a sudden, I'm like, man, I got to poop. So I drop the pole. I rush into the woods, sit down on a tree, drop my waders, and man, I had the biggest poop. It felt great. I go to wipe my butt with a leaf when I look down, and because it's the middle of winter, there is a literal steaming pile of huge crap on these waders that I had.
They were on the waders.
Yeah, on them. So I dropped around my ankle.
And those were your girlfriend's father's waders, right? So you said?
Yeah. So it gets better. I try and wipe it off. It doesn't go well. So I'm using a leaf for that too. And as I come waddling out of the woods with these covered waders around my ankles, there's her dad, like, right in front of me, walking down the beach because he was going to check on me, like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? I come out, like, yeah, man, I pooped on your waders. Also, your pole's sitting on the beach because I got the hook snag right away.
Well, how did the rest of the day go? Did you ever get any fish, clean the waders?
We got no fish. I cleaned the waders in the river the best I could, and then ended up wearing poopy wet waders.
God. Yeah.
Good time.
I guess that's why that relationship probably didn't work out for you.
There was a string of other poop-related incidents that caused us to break up, but not that one.
Okay, all right.
How many poop-related incidents did you have with this girl?
Don't recall.
But more than one is too many.
Was it on your end or was it on her end? No pun intended.
Probably my end.
That is an interesting dynamic.
He's just leaving me with more questions than answers.
Yeah, right.
Like, what's going on?
One of many poop-related incidents. I just feel like that's not something that should happen in your relationship. Well, we had a lot of poop-related incidents
or something where,
I would understand that. So he's talking about, he takes a dump, wipes his ass with a leaf, because that's what we do. And then it occurred to me, are we the only animal that cleans our ass after we poop? Like, if we're out in the woods, we grab a leaf.
Cats.
Yeah, I mean, they lick it clean, but
sure.
I don't feel like they do it directly after they poop, though. Like, I feel like when cats do it, it's just general maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
But is there any, bears will rub their ass up on a tree, but it's not because they pooped, right?
The reason the dogs do that thing on the carpet or whatever is because they need their anal glands expressed. So their butt itches. So it's just like having an itchy butt. They're just trying to take care of that problem.
Right, but it's not like my dog, takes a dump and stares at me like grab some leaves.
That still doesn't mean it leaves somewhat of a trail, because it does.
Of course.
I mean, I guess you're right. I guess we're the only animal that does wipe. But we're also the only one on our level.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we have free choice. We decided to wipe.
I'm just wondering, when did humans decide to start wiping their ass, right? Because no other animals do it. Was it when we started wearing clothing?
We're also built different back there. Ours is. I heard somebody talk about this. That ours.
What do you listen to?
Yeah, I know, right?
All kinds of podcasts.
Like their anus is more an outie as opposed to an innie, so that they don't need to do that.
So they don't make so much create a mess around them.
Correct.
Why can't we get better anuses then? I feel like nature instead of
you've seen a butthole that looks like a juicer,
right.
The top where you put
I don't think it was that long ago when we started this wiping.
Well, how much of that is also related to infection?
That's what I'm saying, but I don't recall a part in the Bible where it's and then Peter wiped.
Right.
They don't do that in the Bible.
Well, he didn't say everything that happened.
They don't do it on television either, or in the movies. No one.
Not a letter to the Corinthians letting them know we got toilet paper.
No one poops.
Yeah. What was the first civilization to wipe their ass?
Well, a lot of them did it with rags and whatnot.
I know, but I'm saying someone had to say, "Man, I don't know what it is, but when I poop, I really feel."
Probably
no other animal has this problem.
I mean, that's why I credit the Romans with the best invention of all time, which is plumbing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we understood to get the stink away.
The Chinese had the first paper, rice paper.
So, all right.
It's thin. It's like Bible paper, right?
Our boy VD's just filling me in here. Says about 1 million years ago. He says we were going to start with the Stone Age. Let's see, about 1 million years ago. Says boat wiping in the Stone Age started off on a rocky road, as you may have guessed. For thousands of years, stones were the go-to wiping method.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Shout out to original dude.
Just keep it rocking.
Who was the first guy who got this message out there? That's an unsung hero.
No, man, just
some
take
guy
a rock.
named Groot. You know what I mean? Hey, man, I'll tell you what.
Find one that's
grab
kind of a cone
rock,
shape.
Clean your ass. I'm telling you. It's like people talking about the bidet now. It changed your life, brother.
God, you don't stink.
Other than the toilets, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
9.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Authorities in a small Texas town have discovered the who, what, where, and when in an illegal dumping case. The assistant fire chief's wife and 50 pounds of human waste. The police station. It all went down November 10th, but the why is still unclear. According to an arrest affidavit, a police department officer found three 5-gallon buckets of what appeared to be human waste outside the police station and saw a woman in an all-white hazmat suit with a yellow mask walking to her vehicle. The affidavit states that the woman told the officer the buckets were human S. She was dropping them off. Police contacted city administrators and the fire department after recognizes Mindy Janet Stevens from her voice, according to the affidavit. It states that Stevens spoke to administrators and refused to take the buckets away, saying, "It was not my problem." The buckets contain 50 pounds of waste. They were removed by a wastewater employee. Stevens, 46, was charged with illegal dumping, over 5 pounds, and under 500 pounds. Reports show that she was booked into jail and released the next day after posting $2,000 bond. Our question, other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
We'd asked right before the break, we're the only animals that wipe our ass after pooping. And pretty much, yes, we are. So then we were asking about what did we use as toilet paper before toilet paper, and thanks to our boy VD, he sent us a link. Quick history here, break it down for you. Mike, as you said, in the Stone Age, they did in fact use stones. Then they moved to ancient Greece, and at that point, believe it or not, they used to wipe their ass with pieces of ceramics. And they would inscribe their names on them so that you knew whose poop ceramic it was. So you couldn't use someone else's. Kind of like
so you wash it off and
wash it off,
again.
and everyone leave it outside of your house. So then you move to about 800 BC. We get to ancient Rome. We stop using ceramics. We stop using stones. They would put a sponge on a stick. So we've definitely gotten to the comfort. And then Miles, you kind of nailed it, man. So believe it or not, around 851 AD, an Arab explorer was in China, and he noted that the Chinese were using paper as opposed to water to wipe their ass. They do point out, not comfortable toilet paper, but nevertheless, they would use paper. This kind of exploded. People said, this is a good idea. All right? But at the same time, they say here in North America, the natives here would use dried out corn cobs or the leaves on the outside of corn.
That's not a bad idea.
Right? This dried out corn cob is very effective, but you had to wait for the thing to dry out. And they say, finally, you get to the point where we started using toilet paper. Not widely available until the early 1900s.
Okay. Hey, look, man, everybody that has the bidet lifestyle loves it.
Oh,
I realize you're still using it when you go to places, but if you're playing a home game, people swear by it. Other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Remember, that's why when you walk down the street, you should walk on the outside and the woman should walk on the inside.
Right, because
back in the day, people just dumped raw sewage out of their windows. So I'd rather land on me than her.
Right.
I thought it was
a true gentleman.
Yeah, I thought it was being hit by a car, to be honest with you.
That's what we say now. That's what your parents are going to tell you now, because most people are dumping poop on the sidewalk, other than 3rd Avenue downtown here, of course. But, yeah, the idea was if a horse and carriage went by or someone dumped their poop, the guy would take the brunt of it and keep the woman clean.
Right, because back in the day, you just had a bowl in the room.
Yep, just dump it out the window. Golly.
Just like the hospital.
I mean, while it's gross, it feels a little freedish.
It does feel kind of free.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, man,
done.
It's a big one.
Well, truck drivers do it, just with urine.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've done that. I've done the Adopt a Highway program. Our Boy Scout council had that.
Was it just basically pee bottles?
It was, yeah. It was. There's a name for it. It's like something grenade or pee bomb. It's typically a Gatorade.
Yeah,
bottle.
you're right.
But that's a lot of what you picked up. You still had to empty those before you put them in the truck, because you couldn't be just carrying around all those heavy bottles with full.
Yeah.
So,
man, I don't know. Something about pee smells worse than poop when it's old.
Right.
Like that. That's a smell.
In the grabber tongs, they work on paper and things that don't weigh a lot. But
trucker bomb.
When you have a trucker bomb, it's kind of hard to get the grip around. So you ultimately end up picking it up with your hand
and just unscrewing the lid. And
even though you're wearing gloves, you're just like, oh man, it's hot. Ah, God.
Yeah, sorry, Highway. I'm not adopting you
Yeah,
today.
no thanks. Other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, David. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So one day was driving with my wife to do some estimates, and the 509 drawbridge goes up.
Uh-oh.
And she had to go, and there's nowhere to go. It was her pants, or we grabbed the plastic shopping bag that had our lunch in it, emptied it out. I held one side, and she held the other, and went in between the seats of my work van.
that is dedication and love.
That really is, man.
I'm telling you, it took our relationship to another level.
At that point, all ice has been broken.
I mean, look, I have been married for a long time in my life, and one thing for sure: if I am pooping, the door is closed.
Yes,
I don't have the relationship like I did my roommates in college or growing up, where it was okay to poop with the door open. It was okay to come in and brush your teeth when someone else is pooping. It was okay to take a shower when someone else is pooping. In a relationship, I cannot remember ever taking a deuce in front of my significant other.
I've had her walk in on me.
Right, but
as soon as I say, hey, man, I'm essing in here, she's like, oh, my bad.
You're right. I never have, and to this day, right, like if one of my buddies really had to go and I was in the shower, I'd be like, just go.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Right.
But with your partner.
So you had to hold one side of the bag for your wife. She couldn't hold both sides of the bag herself?
No, she had to use the other hand to wipe after it was done.
Oh, God. And how long did it take? I mean, if I'm holding a bag for someone to poop in, you're limited time.
There goes your lunch napkins.
Yeah, you're talking about 45 seconds, maybe a minute, or a lifetime is what it felt like at the moment.
Now, did you tie the bag up like you would a dog? You know what I mean?
Yes, we tied it.
Yeah. No,
all right, hang on.
Here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio.
In the context.
Right.
Sucker.
He is not wrong.
And
he was quite literal.
Please keep those words in mind when calling.
Technically,
now back to the program.
You can't say the word, but technically, in the context of it, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. How long ago did this happen?
Last summer.
Oh, God, it was just
it's a freshie.
It was recent, yeah, but we've been together since we were teenagers.
All right.
So we've pretty much lived everything now at this point.
That I think you can check your final check on the list there, right there. Like, and she pooped in a bag in the car in front of me.
All the boxes are checked.
Yeah, that is at that point, like, we're together for a while.
Other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Sky. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. So, I will begin by saying I started this was probably about 2 years ago. I started the day eating pho for lunch. Actually, it was really breakfast. And as you know, that gets things moving through you. Well, my wife and I had decided we were going to have a day at home playing games. So we went to Fred Meyer to pick up some new board games, which, of course, the board games are in the back of the store. We walk in, and I say, hey, I'm going to have to use the bathroom before we leave. So by the time we get to the back of the store, I mean, it's knocking at the door. It's ready to go. So I stand up stiff as a board so that nothing comes out. And as soon as that urge goes away, I ran to the front of the bathroom or to the front of the store to go into the bathroom. And, of course, the urge hits me again. And so I stiffen up again. And I got to pull down my pants because otherwise this is just going in my pants. So,
wait, are you in the bathroom yet?
Yes, I am in the bathroom.
All right.
Thank goodness. Yeah. So, the urge goes away. I think I'm safe. I pull down my pants, and the urge comes back real quick, of course, as I bend over to pull down my pants. Well, for some reason, I decided to be faced away from the toilet when that happened. Well, once the urge I thought had passed, I turned, and in the movement of turning, I accidentally shot the wall.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I finally get sat down doing my business, and I'm watching this just run down the wall. Thankfully, it's a long wall. So I'm just about done here, taking care of my situation. And I know I've got to clean this up because it's dripping on the ground and it's on the wall because I'm a polite person. I'm going to clean up my own mess.
Well, I mean, you did poop on the walls. That seems fair.
Yeah, exactly. So just as I was finishing, someone else came into the bathroom and sat down in the stall next to me, and I am 100% positive they saw me wiping that floor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They probably can smell it, too, because the water does it dissipates the smell. I've always wondered how that kind of thing happens. You know, even at work here, stuff that's splattered on the back of the bowl that won't move when you flush it.
Yeah.
And obviously, look, you've never seen anything weirder than, for whatever reason, a grocery store bathroom. That
every time.
Public place, man. It's almost strangely justified what you did, because that is the place where the weirdest crap happens.
You know, Miles is right. It's sad, but yeah, if I'm the bathroom, I'm least shocked to find a horrible mess like that. Grocery store. And I don't know what it is, if there's like a policy that says, like, look, only use our bathroom if you have explosive diarrhea.
Right. Oh, I was begging. I remember this. It was an old A&P store in Morgantown, and I was begging the guy. I was like, look, I have a mile and a half to walk home. You guys are open till 11. There's nothing really to stop that. There was a couple dive bars, but it would be the equivalent of pooping at the old showbox.
Right.
It was just bad. Like these are stalls without doors, kind of bathrooms, and these bars. And the bars are pretty full at night. So when you walk in there,
everyone can
open
see.
season. So I go to this. I go to the guy in the back, and I'm like, please, man, please let me use the bathroom. I've got $5. I like put off. He's like, dude, just go in the bathroom. I go back in the bathroom. I'm going through like a cooler meat door.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? All this different stuff in the back. And then you get to the back, and it's all the way around the back. And then you get there, and there's like a can of Ajax on top of the toilet.
Always, yeah.
There is a mop bucket in there. There is like a couple little lockers in there and everything else. And that was one time where when I bent over to pull my pants down, I shot on the backside of the lid that was up. What? Now, I was able to clean it up. Thank God they have all those cleaning supplies in there, because they really did.
Maybe that's why.
Well, they had it to clean, everything else. But there was a 409 thing in there. There was paper towels.
How long did it take you to clean your poop off of the seat?
It took a while. It took a while because it was liquid gold. But I was happy that I got a chance to use the bathroom. But that is the only time that I've done anything remotely like that guy was talking.
Like missed the toilet, so to speak.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't think I've ever.
That's not use that term, liquid gold.
Texas team.
I know when you say liquid gold, I think. Yeah, I think barbecue sauce, honestly.
Oh, really?
Do you still?
Is that a dry or a wet rub?
It's a wet one.
All right.
Of course it is.
Other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Nathan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, hola, guys.
Hola.
Hey, I'm at work, so I'm gonna let me just 1 second. Let me switch my phone over to my van.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, he's trying to make it sound better.
Appreciate it. Well, wait.
We do appreciate that.
All right, yeah, it's a lot better than on my phone. I'm gonna try to make this quick because I gotta go install some hoses. But so I'm in Reno, Nevada with my mom, and we just had this super burrito, and
you can just stop. We know the story.
Burrito in Reno.
All right.
In Reno, Nevada, yeah, super burrito. You guys had it or not, but it's I'm about 8 or 9 or 10, and I'm in this super Walmart doing grocery shopping afterwards, and it hits me, so I'm looking for the bathroom. And in my hometown, the smaller Walmart, the bathroom was in the back, so I'm in the back looking for it in the back wall, and I can't find it. So I ask a guy, and he says, "Oh, it's up front," and I'm like, "Oh, great." And I'm all the way in the back, and I've already been searching for a while, so it's hurting. But I'm hustling my way, and I'm trying not to run too fast because
you're a super burrito, aren't you? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, if I run too fast, it loosens up and everything comes out, and so I'm kind of doing a speed shuffle walk, and I'm turtle heading, and I'm like, as soon as I get to the front area where I can kind of see like the sign, my turtle head kind of goes out a little too far, and it scares me, and I clench, and it chops the head off the turtle head. And it rolls down my pant leg, and I can feel it run down every Peach Fuzz leg, and it falls out of the pant leg in the middle of the aisle. And it's Walmart white aisles, and I'm like shuffling, but I feel it, and I don't want to like stop and like turn around and like go like, oh, I dropped this and go to pick it up, So I just play it off, and I keep moving, and I look back, and when I look back, I swear, when I was sitting on the floor, it made the perfect shape of a Hershey's Kiss. And So I go to the bathroom to finish my thing. I don't make it. It's everywhere. I'm trying to clean up, and now I have this mess I'm trying to clean up, and some guy turns off the lights while I'm cleaning up. So now I'm like, I can't see what I'm doing, and I got my back side cleaned up, but I'm trying to get my trousers cleaned up, and I can't see where I'm trying not to get it on my hand, and I can't see, so I need to I'm waiting for someone to come in. No one comes in, so I'm like, I got to turn these lights on, but I can't, so I do a half thigh up with my shirt over, and I'm trying to get down through the light switch, and I'm waiting, and no one comes in, so I'm like, I'm going to go for it. And I shuffle out, and right when I go to reach for the light, a kid my age opens the door, and all the light of Walmart opens up on me. And I'm like halfway with my pants halfway down, and the kid freezes and I freeze, and we stare at each other for like a solid 3 seconds, and then he just closes the door. I turn on the light, and I go back, I clean myself up, and I'm like, all right, I need to get out of here. I tell my mom, I'm like, I'm out, but on my way back, I'm like, I want to check on that Hershey's Kiss, see what happened to it. And so I go back to the crime scene, and I look, and someone ran it over with their shopping cart. And so the first initial Hershey's Kiss made like a little Grand Canyon, and then after that it was like a yellow, like a passing lane on the road with a brown skid mark all the way down. When the wheel would rotate, it would make a little mark, and then so as you're going down the aisle, there's like a little brown passing lane. Right. And so I kind of get the idea to follow it, and I'm following it, and there's this manager guy that sees the skid mark, and you know how when your shoes make new shoes on a basketball court make a street, and you can kind of rub it out with your shoe. The manager sees this and goes to rub it out with his shoe, and he fails miserably, and he's like, oh crap, and I followed the car, and I found the car, and just to see the person that did it, but. Yeah, that's pretty much to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys letting me on. I just wanted to tell that quick story. I love you guys.
Hey, Super Burrito in Reno.
Yeah, that's
actually, I Googled it. It looks pretty good.
The Super Burrito?
Well, it's like a locally owned chain.
Oh, the name of the place is Super Burrito.
Our question, other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
When you think of health, where does your mind go? To the doctor's office? Or to your community, where you can join kids clubs and local events? At your grocery store, where an allowance makes it easier to eat healthy? Or on your street, where a ride is there to take you to the doctor? We're WellPoint, a health insurance company that knows that health isn't just one thing, it's everything. WellPoint, your whole health is our whole point.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
We all know who the Jonas Brothers are.
Yep.
Not sure if I can tell you their songs. I might have heard. I don't. If I heard one, I might know it, but I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you the name.
Well, one of the
I know more of their songs when they're not together.
All right. Correct. Joe Jonas just in an interview with a radio station in Australia. He revealed an embarrassing story about something that happened on stage during a live show. And, of course, it involved an ill-timed bowel movement. He was performing, and apparently he thought he could pass a little gas, but what came out was more than he could bargain for. And to make matters worse, he was wearing white pants at the time. He said he immediately made his way to the back of the stage for new pants, and he thinks he got away with it without anyone noticing, but some fans may have thought that it was strange because he had just done a wardrobe change, and this happened in the middle of the song. He didn't say which show it happened at, but he did say that it was only 4 years ago, so it's a, quote, fresh story. And it did not happen in the classic Joe Bro days. But either way, that would be something you're performing in front of probably a sold-out crowd.
Yeah, they sell out crowds. Are you talking thousands upon thousands?
He was the lead singer in that, too, and then that happened. Our question, other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Ashley. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
Okay, so I'm a mail lady in a rural area, and you have to get really creative on where you go. So I have lots of stories, but I'll tell you one that sticks out. I was trying to hurry on my route, and my stomach was twisting. So I tried making it to this marina where they have an awesome bathroom and it takes a pin to get in. And I get there and I'm pushing in the numbers and I'm pushing them in, and it's not working. And then it hits me and it starts coming out and I freaked. So I immediately pulled my pants down in the middle of their parking lot in their little building. It was terrible.
That sounds terrible.
It was very terrible. And then I had to get back in my rig and drive to their house. And I asked them, hey, what's up with the pin? And they were like, I'm so sorry. Come in. We can get you a beverage. And I had this in my pants at the time. And I'm like, oh, no, that's fine. And she's like, let me get you the pin. And then she brought it out as I'm standing there the whole time with poop in my pants. It was terrible.
Rain, snow, sleet, or hail. So what did you end up doing?
I ended up going back and figuring it all out in their amazing bathroom. And then I went back out and tried kicking it away with a stick because it was right there where everybody could see. I'm shocked nobody walked by. Like, I didn't even make it behind a car.
You should have grabbed someone's electric bill and cleaned it up with that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the junk mail.
I didn't get it.
Bed Bath & Beyond catalog. Do you, so did you have to do the rest of your shift with traces of poop in your pants?
Oh, no, they have a shower in there, too. So, like, I did a thorough.
Nice.
And
That's convenient.
How many times a year, as a mail carrier, how many times a year does it hit you that you have to take a dump and there's nowhere to go?
A lot. I have no gallbladder. And so some days I'll be fine. And then some days, like, I'll eat something that irritates my stomach. Like, my family cannot stand it. I talk about so many poop stories. So when I heard this, I'm like, I have to call. Like, my father-in-law got me a doggy bag container with my little name and a dog tag because he was like, you're disgusting. Because there's nowhere to go.
Have you ever been bit by a dog? You said you're on a rural route.
Yes, I have.
How many times?
Shepherd.
Really?
Once on my arm, yeah.
How bad was that?
You could see, like, the white stuff, but, I mean, it healed up nicely. There's just, like, a little scar.
All right.
And let me ask you this, again, as a mail carrier, there's no way you're alone with these, oh, my God, I have to poop and there's nowhere to go stories. Is this something you guys kick around the old water cooler?
Well, there's some city people that said they found piss jugs in some of the trucks, but, like, I just go for a bush. And, I mean, sometimes cars might see you, but it's like, you got to do what you got to do.
Can you just walk into a Starbucks? I mean, you got to mail.
Not where I'm at, no. Not where I'm at.
Nowhere.
And let me ask, so I drive by and I see Ashley, the mail lady, pooping in the bushes. Now, I called the post office.
Keep going.
Would you actually get in trouble for that, or would they... I mean, they have to understand, right?
When I first got hired on a long time ago, they said don't go in the middle of nowhere because everybody has cameras on their phones. But it's like, what are you supposed to do?
Right. I mean, that's exactly it. Like, you're just going to have to tape me pooping, brother, because when you got to go, you got to go.
You got to go.
Do you have, like, one of the, like, littler trucks, or do you have, like, a big truck?
I have one of the old little ones.
So there's no way you can put, like, a 5-gallon bucket and a pool noodle on top of it?
Yeah, that sounds yummy. Okay. All right, well... Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling.
Back to your route.
Other than the toilets, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Sorry, mail caller. I don't know. Mail delivery person. I never tell people go back to work. It's like,
back to your work.
Back to your roots.
Don't poop yourself.
Right. Don't be crapping.
Hello, Bob. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
Hey, I can sympathize with that mail carrier. I'm a truck driver in the remote areas, and you got to just do it where you can do it. But this story is different. This goes back many years.
Wait. Let me ask you something real quick. So as a truck driver, you got to do it where you do it. Have you ever, like, pulled over, you're going to do it where you do it, and there's someone else doing it where they had to do it, like, at the same time?
Luckily, not so far. But, I'm still driving, so who knows?
Even like a lot of the rest areas only have one toilet. The rest are urinals in the guy's bathroom.
Right, which is ridiculous.
And there's always a line if you pull over at a rest stop of people just waiting to poop, and everybody else can, pee freely.
And it smells so bad, man.
It does.
Yeah, I drive to Spokane, and I know every rest area between here and Spokane. So this goes back many years, pre-cell phone days. So I didn't have a flashlight, part of the story. So we were going fishing. We're going out to the Point Defiance boat ramp. And we're putting the boat in the water, and I got to go. There's a couple of, Santa cans out there. And this is really, it's still dark out. I can't see a thing. So I get in there. I sit down. I, drop a deuce. And I go, man, this seat's really wet. I figured it's just condensation, not a big deal. So, we go through the day, and we're trying to catch fish. And what's that smell? What is that smell? Well, it turns out somebody had hovered over that Santa can toilet seat and just had diarrhea like you cannot. And I sat square in it.
Oh, God.
Thought it was condensation. No, it was because I went back. I went back when the sun came up and looked. I went, "Oh, Jesus H, you can't."
You got a fecal transplant there.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
How long before you could wash your ass?
It was a long time because we've been on the boat all day trying to catch fish and to get back. And luckily, I lived kind of close to Point Defiance at the time. But geez, what a nightmare!
That is terrible, dude. God almighty, man. Yeah, if you got diarrhea, don't hover. Right? Just as a general rule. For real. Right, like just suck it up, put your ass on the damn seat, and let it go where it needs to go. Because you cannot control the direction or the splatter of your diarrhea.
Most people's butt cheeks are just not that nasty.
No.
Well, if you're not sitting down, that's the problem. You're missing the spot.
It's diarrhea.
Right.
Hovering only gets more people to hover. Everybody shouldn't hover. Nobody should hover.
If you can get a gasket, if you're worried about that, put a gasket down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're worried about touching it or whatever
right, but those don't really. But my point is just if nobody hovered, you wouldn't end up with anything on the seat.
Right.
Then nobody else would be compelled to hover. I'm team put the toilet seat down.
Yeah. I agree.
Like I go to some bars, and like one bar I used to go to, they had a sign that said, "Please put the seat down," and I said, why don't you just tell people no standing to pee?
Right.
Yep.
Just sit down and do it. You're getting drunk anyway.
Other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Yeah, and look, I can't lie. Drunk or sober, like once in a while, I'm just not paying attention. No.
Yep.
I'll miss.
Oop, damn it.
Yeah.
Especially when doing it at your own house. Like,
Thank you.
Son of a bitch.
Well, I got to clean this up.
Because at least if I do it here, and it sounds terrible, I'm probably not going to clean it up. If you do it at home, I'm like, I need to get on this now.
Yeah.
I know. Hello, Randy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, female dogs.
Hola.
Hey, I got a note for you. The older you get, the less you have control of your body. Your body will now control you. So I was on my way to pick my wife up from a horse function. I had to hook up a horse trailer to my truck and drive the horse back out to Enumclaw. And the first person I saw when I got there was my wife. She knows where every bathroom is in the state. And she says, go in that hallway, and the bathroom's on the left. So I'm feeling alongside the hallway, and I get into the door and do a 180-degree turn back, and it gets darker and darker and darker. Now, I find the door. Where is it that when they build a house, you put the light switch in a bathroom? Right by the door.
Typically, yeah.
On the inside.
Yeah, on the inside usually. Not this place. It was next to the toilet to the left on the wall. And I did find the toilet first. Meanwhile, I'm groundhogging pretty good. And it's going down my leg like the previous caller said. And so I finally found the light switch, but after the deed was done. So that's basically it. And I mean, being that I just washed my whole leg with brown stuff, I got to drive all the way from that place to Enumclaw, then home in Auburn before I could get to the washing machine.
Oh. Well, at least it smelled like horse crap already, I guess.
Who puts the damn light switch next to the toilet?
There's a lot of weirdness like that.
But it only seems like bathrooms. Like, to me, almost any other room in the home, generally the light switch is exactly where you think it is. And to his point, for whatever reason with older homes, a lot of people, I guess it was important to turn the bathroom light on before you physically stepped in. Mm-hmm. But I'm not typically thinking that, so you go into the bathroom, close the door, you're reaching around on the wall, and I've had the situation where, like, I cannot find a light switch. There's no windows. It is pitch black. So you just find a toilet, do your business. I assume I wiped well. I don't know. And then when I left the bathroom, I'm like, there's the light switch on the outside.
Other than the toilet, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Taylor. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So this was about 7 years ago. I was dating my ex-boyfriend at the time, and it's a Monday night. It's a hot night in June. We had just laid down to go to bed. Lights are off, and my stomach started to gurgle and feel upset. I had no time to go to the bathroom. I'm not wearing any bottoms, and I just crawled out of bed and grabbed the garbage can that was right there and started to throw up in the garbage can, and simultaneously it was coming out the back end. And my boyfriend at the time wakes up, and I'm like throwing up, pooping, and I'm like, don't turn on the light. Don't turn on the light. And he turns on the light. And just as he does that, he goes, oh, God, and like has to jump out of the way because it's like projectile coming out of me, like hitting the walls, like it's everywhere.
Did you have food poisoning?
Either that or the stomach flu.
Yeah, something.
My God,
something wasn't right with it. But he was fine.
He was okay. He felt really bad for me. He picked me up and stuck me in the shower where I proceeded to vomit and poop for the next, several hours. And I'm a tiny thing, so I was like dead by the time this was all said and done.
You were shooting poop so far out that it hit the wall?
Yeah, and it's actually my friend's favorite poop story that they make me tell at like every bachelorette party and every family function. So, yeah.
Are you dating anyone now?
Oh, yes, and he is a religious listener of this show, and I hope he's not listening right now because he doesn't like the whole poop. I try to talk to him, about poop things, and he's not into it.
Well, why would he listen to this show if he doesn't want to hear about poop things?
But not from me, not from the woman.
I mean, I work on the show. I don't want to hear my girlfriend bragging about poop stories.
I don't know if you're bragging.
Yeah.
Here. I think you're more just sharing.
No, I'm not bragging. I just
feels a little braggish.
But also, when I heard the question, I was like, I got to share this because this is a good one.
Well, how many? You said your friends call it your best poop story. How often are you telling poop stories?
Yeah, how many different poop stories you have to choose from?
I have quite a few. I'm not going to lie.
All right. I mean, look, we're sitting around the campfire. She has a few too many cocktails, starts telling poop stories. All right.
I've been throwing a couple poop stories myself.
Yeah.
And it's the way that I tell it that really makes it humorous to them because I get into it.
Good time.
Well, it's a good thing your boyfriend at the time turned on the light because you realized if he hadn't, she'd have pooped on him.
Yeah.
But she made the point of when he flipped it on, he had to jump out of the way.
Other than the toilets, what was your poop incident? 206-803-ROCK.
I do like the idea of driving to a party and be like, honey, can we just not tell poop stories tonight?
Let me just tell the one. Just the one.
No, please, no.
I'm going to tell it.
It's my coworkers.
They want to know.
Actually, I can't use that excuse.
Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
All right. So a couple years ago, I was at home making a big pot of venison chili, and my son was pretty anxious to go fishing. So I told him, yeah, we'll go fishing tomorrow. So proceeded to eat, 3 big bowls of chili and, handful of 3 or 4 beers or whatever, and got our fishing gear ready, and we head out to go fishing around 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like a 7 o'clock in the morning guy. Like, I have an appointment every morning. Like, I'm regular. 7 o'clock is the time. So the other thing I got going against me is, as much as I love chili, man, beans do a number on me, like more than anyone I know. Like, if I eat chili, I'm sleeping on the couch.
Okay.
So we go fishing the next day, obviously before 7 o'clock, and the chili's working, man. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever worn waders before, but when you fart in waders, it funnels everything right up to your face.
Right.
Like,
all right.
Yeah. So we're standing out in the river. I'd waded all the way across. The river, and I'm probably up to my, well past my waist. And we're standing there in water, and we're standing there fishing, and I feel another fart coming on, and let her rip. And gentlemen, it was not a fart. And I just felt this warm bulge form. And so I had, standing in the water, you got all that water pressure as well, right? So it immediately started squeezing up my back. I just look at my son. I'm like, we got to go. So you know that waddle walk you do when you have a little accidental discharge that you're trying Try doing that carrying 3 salmon, a fishing rod, and waist deep in water, buddy.
I guess you didn't catch any fish, did you? But you were chumming, that's for sure.
Yeah. We caught fish, all right, but yeah, we get to the bank and clamber up the bank, and we get across to the truck, and it's on a busy road, and Bryson's, my son's wanting to know what's going on, and I'm like, buddy, don't ask any questions, just get in the truck. So I grab a roll of paper towels, and I get kind of out of sight of traffic, and I just reach down the back of my waders, and what I pulled out, dude, was not pretty. So I threw that wad in a bag in the back of my truck. I got in my waders, and my son's like, Dad, what's wrong? Like, don't ask questions. We just got to get home. So I drove home in shame, and you guys have had kids. When your kid takes a crap and it gets all the way up to the middle of his back.
Oh, yeah. Grey Poupon.
Yeah, that was me, all right. So I literally threw all my clothes away, and I stood in a scalding hot shower for about a half an hour, just trying to piece together some form of dignity again.
Right. Did you ever tell your kid what was up?
Oh yeah. Well, once we had about a half-hour drive home, and I'm kind of sitting there driving kind of on my hips, right? Like I'm sitting there sideways, still wearing my waders. And he's like, Dad, what's going on? I was like, son, I pooped my pants. I don't know how. I pooped my pants.
I guess you didn't catch any fish that day.
I did. 3 salmon.
You did 3 salmon.
Yeah, well, we caught a few. Yeah, we caught a few. The Puyallup River right here, when it comes in, my son loves to go down and join the 10,000 of our closest friends there on the river. So, yeah, we have a good time down there, but that day was not one of those.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Damn, man.
Okay. All right. Good time.
Dad, what's going on? Don't ask questions.
Still to come, we got your emails on the way from the men's room at KISW.com. You are listening to the men's room.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
When you think of health, where does your mind go? To the doctor's office? Or to your community, where you can join kids clubs and local events? At your grocery store, where an allowance makes it easier to eat healthy? Or on your street, where a ride is there to take you to the doctor? We're WellPoint, a health insurance company that knows that health isn't just one thing, it's everything. WellPoint, your whole health is our whole point.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, the podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who Sucks Last is coming on the first time for a few emails from the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got
Couple here from our question. Other than the toilets, what was your poop incident? Guys, Ola, back in high school, I worked at a dairy farm on the weekends in Enumclaw. Yo, Mike. Yeah. Anyway, working as a hand at the dairy means that you get used to cow poop, the smell, smelling like it, sometimes wearing it, it permeates. Oh, yeah. More than a few times, new cows would get easily spooked and try to knock you down. Well, one succeeded. I landed flat on the poo-covered concrete entrance to the milking parlor.
Initiation.
No major damage, but you just can't leave and go change. Had to finish the shift all bruised and covered in cow flop. End of each shift, I would rinse my boots, clean up as best as possible, change clothes, keep the work stuff in a bag in my trunk, and yes, I took my stuff out when I wasn't working, but I was so used to the smell, I did not realize my car still smelled like dairy. But the worst was when I gave a girl that I liked a ride home from school. She got physically nauseous from the smell of my car and never asked for a ride again. Hardly talked to me after that day. That from Marb in Monroe. Guys, many years ago, friends and I were having lunch in Margaritaville in New Orleans.
Nice.
As we were leaving, I considered stopping by the bathroom, but we kept going. While we were at a nearby shop, I realized I should have made that stop. Asked one friend for the key card to the hotel, began 1 mile journey to the hotel, tried my luck at Cafe du Monde, but it was already a line of 4 to the bathroom. Continued on my journey. A few blocks from my hotel, my luck ran out as the brown soft serve began to run. I arrived at the hotel as I desperately used the key card to operate the elevator. A woman approached. I'm sure my eyes displayed my panic. Much to my relief, she walked on by. I did not have to say, "Do not come in here." Not long after I reached the hotel room and still in the process of cleaning up in the bathroom, my friends returned. I thought, why are you here already? After all was said and done, one friend asked, "What is that smell?" Name withheld. P.S. This is the first time that I've told that story.
Name withheld.
Trying to go, if you're in New Orleans, trying to go to Cafe du Monde, right? I mean, like, if people go anywhere as a tourist destination in New Orleans,
where they're going.
They're going there.
Guys, I was working Expo at Red Lobster in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And the night was wrapping up. We had just started cleaning when a server came back to tell our manager that one of our customers wanted someone to check on her date who would not return from the bathroom. They asked me to go in as this guy was kind of big and a little intoxicated, so I go, and what I see is nothing short of foul. The man had taken a huge dump in the urinal on the floor, thrown up, apparently bailed out the side door, not far from the restroom. When I told my manager he had to see it, upon confirmation, he told the lady the issue. Well, she paid the bill. I had to clean up the restroom due to me being the only one who could stomach the situation. And to be honest, I don't think I've seen anything that bad, even when I was in the Marines. Thanks for reading, guys. Have a great day. That from Cody. Guys, I had recently had a stroke, and I blame this on that. I was inside a local handyman store shortly before they were to close. My stomach started feeling icky. I was riding one of those handicapped shopper carts. Made it to the restroom door. Wielding my cane, I proceeded into the restroom and almost made the toilet, but not quite. I had a dress and boots on. I filled the boots with excrement all over me, clothes which I threw out, had a horrible time trying to clean up, was only able to accomplish cleanup with the help from a stranger, a lovely lady who gave her all to help me. I only had use of one hand, and she literally saved me. We were in there for over an hour, and I left the store wearing one of those contractor yard bags. Horrible scenario. I don't know what I've done without that lovely angel of a good Samaritan. I'm still so thankful to this day.
Damn.
I have never gone back to that store since. Left with a contractor yard bag.
I'm sure no one could piece together what happened there.
This is a questionable one when we're on to the birthdays. All Michelle is a longtime listener, and myself and my fiance are expecting a little girl here anytime today. Her name is Ivy Lynn. So this was sent at 3:25 in the afternoon. I'm not sure yet that the child was born.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You said you're expecting little Ivy Lynn?
It might be the same.
Did he say it's their first?
Yes. It might be the
that
same.
kid's not here yet.
Okay. All right.
I don't know why. It seems like the first one takes a long time.
Certainly, in the case with me, the first one.
Yeah.
That's what my mom always said.
Yeah,
But
it took forever.
it is the
but she
correct-
had a cord around her neck that explained what was taking her so damn long. But still, it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah. But it still is technically the day of. More than likely, correct?
Maybe. I mean, look, man, you've been through if you watch TV shows and movies, your water breaks, you're going to deliver a kid in 2 minutes, right? In real life, the water breaks, and then you hurry up and wait.
Okay.
You sit there for hours. And I mean, look, I would love to do it, but we don't know if the kid's here yet.
That's right, Michael, but congratulations if it happens. Wait for next year. Because this is not really a birthday. This is like the 0 day.
But this
It's
is
really the
epitome
birthday.
of
I know that. You're right.
I mean, I don't know. What do you say? You're 0 years old? So if you bought a birthday cake on the day that the kid's actually born, right?
You have a 0.
Yeah, I mean, you just put a 0 on top of the cake.
Day 1.
But the point of the birthday cake is for the birthday person to eat it.
Correct.
Well, a 2-hour-old baby can't eat cake.
Either can a 1-year-old.
Well, I guess the parents have to suck it up and eat.
You get them a cake, they smash it all over themselves.
I was going to say, they eat less than they place on the face.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. You know what we do here? We celebrate birthdays.
That's correct.
Yes.
Not birthdays.
Fella, it is my mom, Karen, with a Y's birthday today. I've been tasked with the procuring a birthday shout-out.
We celebrate people's birthdays.
Right.
So we say happy birthday, not the birthday.
But I mean, a kid called a birthday. If that kid's born today, like, dude,
that's why you remember
this
the
is
day.
the only time that, for real, I can honestly say Happy birthday.
You were born on December 24th. That is your birthday.
My birth date.
Date. Yes, that's your birth date.
All right. Fellows, it's my mom Karen with a wise birthday today. I've been tasked with you procuring a birthday shout-out. Can we get some advice from the captain and a bong rip? Thank you guys for being there for my mom when she needed a laugh. And if Karen hears this, let her know her daughter Samantha loves her very much, guys.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. It's hard to know what kind of advice to give because you didn't ask for any specific type of advice. So, Karen, if you're listening, based on that incomplete email from your daughter, I'd put Samantha up for adoption. Crunch Bears.
Guys, today is my wonderful...
a little harsh, I know.
I love it. Today is a wonderful Liesel's birthday. After work, we're celebrating with some Red Robin.
Nice.
And crumble cookies.
Ooh, all right, man.
We've had crumble cookies. They're fantastic.
I was cussed. Yes, they're very good.
They are super good.
Okay. Let's see here. For her birthday, she has requested Horatio Magellan Crunch, the captain, to talk about working at the Home Depot. Maybe a little words of wisdom from Miles and a shout out from Aussie Ted. Thanks, guys. That from Justin.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. First and foremost, thank you for calling me by my full name. Typically, only my mother calls me Horatio. Although, oddly enough, she shortened it to whore. Come here, whore. That's how she talked to me. But my first job was actually working at the Home Depot, was it? It's a fantastic job to have. That's where I actually met Little Debbie. She was a cashier that liked to get freaky in the store bathrooms. That's how she lost her job. And I gave her their first oatmeal cream pie. Crunch Bears.
Okay.
She lost her job.
She was a little freak then.
We were talking about the Jonas Brothers earlier. Here's some boy band knowledge for you, a little inspiration.
Oh, when it comes to boy bands, Miles is your source.
Liesel, wrap your brain around this. Every single member of One Direction actually just went their own way.
Strong point.
Yeah, Ted here from Melbourne. The funny thing is, down here on the old prison island, we haven't got the crumble cookie yet. A crumble cookie down here is just old poop from a kangaroo.
Just say my friend Curtis has his birthday.
They're dying down there, Mike. They got no crumble cookies.
Gentlemen, today my friend Curtis has his birthday down in Texas. So since he's down there and chili is a serious business, let's give him some shotgun gets and plenty of farts for celebration. Liquor and Horrors, guys, that from Dennis.
Get. Soundtrack to chili.
And all the gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
And all the gentlemen. And all the gentlemen, it's our son Lucas's 18th birthday. He's a tall, soul-sucking ginger that we love to death. Can we have Coach Ted talk to him about the next stage of his life after high school? Miles, maybe a dad joke. Also lucky enough to have our son-in-law Wyatt, a.k.a. Earp's big 26th birthday. Some of the dirty Germans talking about how beautiful our daughter is and how lucky that he is. Lucky to have you guys. Lots of love from Amber, Blanche, Gust, Sam, Coop, and the furry animals. Oh, it's Coach Ted. My bad.
You know, it's funny. How about all the furry animals open up for you, too? They frickin' crushed it. All right. You're getting out of high school. Next stage of life. Now, listen. Not everybody needs to go to college. Coach Ted didn't, frankly. Sure, you can sign up for community college and skip the classes and withdraw before you get bad grades. Point is, you need to find a job. Now listen, the first few jobs aren't going to be awesome. You're going to bounce around. You're going to have a bunch of them. But find one you kind of like. Maybe it's bartending. Maybe you're sick in the head and you like to drive that little cart at the driving range that gets banged by the other balls. Either way, just find a job. You're 18. You got to start making some money, son.
All right. Yeah. Do one here on an early Dad Joke Friday. A woman is sitting at her recently deceased husband's funeral. A man leans in and says, "Do you mind if I say a word?" "No," she says. "Go right ahead." The man stands, clears his throat, and says, "Plethora," and then sits back down. "Thanks," the woman says. "That means a lot."
Well done. Well done.
They're laughing early.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, do we already do that one? No, we haven't done that yet.
Oh, yeah. So once the Germans too?
Sorry.
Yo, what is the name of this person?
Well, there's two people. There's Earp and there's whatever.
Oh, yeah. I forgot so many people this year. I'll tell you what. I don't know if this is a family or just a giant group thing. It's a lot of people, and the furry animals are involved.
Yeah, tonight we'll be bringing the furry animals. I will be one of them, and we will have sex with you all. Did you say herb? I'm going to slurp some herb.
Yeah.
I'm doing herb slurping.
So I'm going to get wild.
And old Patel's Liquor and Horse.
Wyatt.
What?
His name wasn't Wild Earp.
Yeah, Wyatt Earp. Wild Earp.
And old Patel's Liquor and Horse. Today is my 50th trip around the sun. What a strange trip it's been. Can I get Coach Ted to pep me up for a midlife crisis? Thanks, Patel's. Appreciate it. That from Sean. Or Shane.
Damn it, Miles.
Shane? Whose birthday is it?
Shane and Everett.
Shane's birthday. All right. Midlife crisis. I mean, look, you could do the classic thing and go buy a convertible like a Corvette or something like that. You could do the other thing, get a motorcycle, become motorcycle guy. But why don't you do something that's super crazy and weird? Get a nice affordable car that'll run till you're 60, take that money you saved, and go on a nice trip.
There you
and then
go.
when you get there, you just lie. Every day is your frickin' birthday. Who's gonna know? You're traveling from one Margaritaville over to Billy Bob's backdoor outdoor gator station.
Gator station.
All right, guys, here we go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
BG.
Ya's a Dirty German is brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Now, the men's room wants to know who sucks less?
Yay! Time for Who Sucks Last. Stephen Thrill you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck. It's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Twitter, the debate is already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yes, indeed. And these are not the worst stories in the world, but like I said, we're labeling this episode of Who Sucks Less the man. Because the man shows his face in many ways. The man collects taxes. The man gets us in trouble, etc. So let us start in Canada. This is a story that our very own Mike Hogg covered this a few weeks ago, I believe. But essentially, be careful how you use emojis. A judge in Canada just ruled that they can be legally binding, specifically the thumbs up emoji. It all stemmed from a disagreement between a farmer in Saskatchewan and a company that was trying to buy grain. So back in 2021, a buyer for the company sent a mass text to a bunch of farmers trying to buy around 100 tons of it. Well, the farmer named Chris Actor, he called him back and they talked it through. Then the buyer texted Chris a message to, quote, "Please confirm the contract." Well, Chris texted back a thumbs up. But he claims he hadn't even read the contract yet. He was just trying to let the guy know that he'd gotten his text. But the deal fell through, so when Chris didn't deliver the grain when he was supposed to, the company sued him. So Chris's lawyer argued that emojis can mean different things, so it shouldn't be legally binding. But the judge called it a non-traditional yet valid signature. So now Chris has to pay over $61,000 in damages plus interest. So again, hey man, did you get the contract? Thumbs up. And that is now the Canadian courts anyway determined that is the equivalent of signing a contract.
Sounds to me like he just acknowledged the fact that he got the contract.
That's what he was saying. Like,
I got it.
Either way, legally binding, Miles. Legally binding. Now we go to Florida, where a woman says she was just trying to do the right thing, bringing a stray dog to the Lake County Animal Shelter. Now she's being ordered to pay $500 after the county says she put false information on the form. Quote, "I saw a stray dog in the middle of the road, picked it up. It was the 4th of July. The last thing I wanted was for it to obviously be running loose on the most traumatic day to be a lost dog. So she kept the dog for one night since the shelters were closed. Because again, it was July 4th. Well, anyway, the intersection where she found the dog is in Orange County, about a mile south of the Lake County border. When File dropped the dog off at the Lake County shelter, she filled out a form saying she found it there instead of Orange County. Now, the form did have a warning on it about the penalty for making a false statement, so she knew, but she was sent a letter telling her she's being fined $500 for using false information. So basically, she found the dog's owner. The dog's owner came pick up the dog about 5 days at the shelter and only paid $17 to pick up the dog. But she still finds it hard to believe. She's like, I was trying to do the right thing. It's a dog's owner also getting a penalty. No, it is not. Anyway, she recently had the case heard by a special master, but the county upheld the fine. Said, hey, you lied about where it was a mile away, but she did lie about it. So for saving the dog a mile away from the county she dropped it off in, she's now being charged $500. Jesus. Mm-hmm. And then finally, where the hell did it go? Here we go. This is going to make everybody happy. A company called Hayden AI. They have a new camera system that lets city buses scan for illegally parked cars and write instant tickets. So buses in New York started getting them last year. D.C. is getting them too, and Santa Monica, California just finished a test run. But each bus has an AI camera that scans the road and reads license plates. If you're parked illegally, it documents it. Then you get a ticket in the mail. So for now, they're just using it for people who park or drive illegally in bus lanes. But the point is to avoid delays, make sure buses, blah, blah, blah. But eventually, they're going to be used to hand out other types of tickets too. And as you would expect, it also generates a whole bunch of revenue. Santa Monica in 45 days made about $150,000 in revenue.
Okay.
So there you go. We have the Canadian court saying, yeah, if you send a thumbs up emoji for any kind of business transaction, that is a legally binding signed contract. You have the woman in Florida, and granted, she did lie about where she found the stray dog, but tried to do the right thing. Now she's being fined $500 for saving the dog. And finally, city buses, because you can count on this going across the country. With AI cameras, if you're parked illegally, you just get the instant ticket.
I think it's easy. The Canada thing is ridiculous.
That is
the thumbs up literally just means, like,
I received your message, right?
Right, like sometimes it's something good and you're like, oh, cool. We will meet at 6. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're just acknowledging it. The animal shelter, like, your job is to help these dogs. Like, I get it, she lied, but still a stray dog belongs in a shelter. And then I'm just going to say the buses with AI cameras to give out parking tickets sucks the least because, I mean, look, that's just the way we're going. Yeah. I know. I don't know if they do it in this state. I know in the state of Maryland, every state trooper car, right, because you're so close to D.C., they get to use that technology. It just scans constantly.
That's all it does, right?
Right. So, I mean, you got outstanding warrant tickets, or your dates or your tags are out of date. Like, it just gets you. So, I mean, this stuff is coming.
Not only that, but it films people who are illegally driving the bus lane.
Correct.
Which I think this morning, traffic was horrible coming down.
And all you can think is, I want to drive.
Every single Mercedes and BMW was driving in the bus lane. It said,
it's established that rules do not apply to the Miles. We know this.
Well, I'm just thinking to myself, like, everyone else is backed up, and these guys are zooming through the bus lanes. And I'm just like,
they're very important.
You asses. Nice. So I'm going to say that one sucks at least. On debate continues just like Ted. On Who Sucks Less, if you happen to follow KISW on Twitter. Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, Tech coming up here in just minutes. We'll drink and toast with the shot of the day, and we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, a quick check-in with Mike Honk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, Twisted Tea made a wax for men to wax their backs this summer.
Twisted Tea?
Twisted Tea.
It's not that there's not wax out there to wax your back. You need somebody else to do it.
That is a strong point, right? It's not the lack of wax.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully tea works better than all the other stuff that burns your skin before you have that fine line between, is it frying it or can you peel it off now?
Well, I'm assuming that it's still a wax, but it's kind of weird that it's coming from Twisted Tea. That just seems like a weird match.
Yeah, like what? Do I need Twisted Tea wax? Is this something
right?
Well, getting your back waxed hurts.
Sure.
But it's not like putting on the stuff that they just wipe off the hair.
Oh, that's what, like, chemical stuff, whatever it is.
There's different brands. That stuff literally eats your skin.
Oh, man.
I tried it, Mike.
A new study says parents with multiple kids are more likely to neglect their own fitness.
Yeah, no kidding. You don't have time. Yeah, I mean, that's our life.
You're chasing 2 children around. My sister is just fighting for her life right now with her 2 kids.
Everyone does.
Yes.
Yeah.
When asked if they considered their parents' relationship a love story, 46% of people said yes. And that was the majority rule.
Because they don't know the real story. They know what people have told them.
That's dark, Miles.
Well, they don't. They might have accidentally got pregnant.
Yeah.
So it's not like a love story where they record
most
each other.
kids,
Oh, God, we're pregnant.
As they perceive it, it's like, well, sure, you're the parents. You've been together. It must be some glorious love story. Like, yeah, also, we met at a bar. I was drunk. And now it doesn't mean that life has not been good, but like my parents, the reason they met, and they've been together for almost 60 years now, all right? But they met at a party because my father's still current best friend was hitting on my mom first.
Nice.
Then my mom wanted to get away from him, and she took a seat and sat on my father's cigarettes. Yeah. And if you know anything about my father, he had the response that my father has, like, woman, why don't you look where you're sitting down? God damn, you just broke a pack and smoked blah, blah, blah. As my mom says.
They're probably 30 cents a pack.
He was a real a-hole about it. They had an argument, and then they've been married for almost 6 years.
Oh, right.
That's how they met.
But
because she sat her ass on his cigarettes and broke them and pissed him off.
But from our talk with her, it was
a smoking story.
It was more the harrowing saving that he did of her on the wild horse.
Oh, on the horse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
She told us that great story.
God damn. Yeah. And I feel bad when she tells that because I'm like, man, if that had been my wife, I'd have been like, yeah, that's the last time I saw her.
You're out. And the thing is like, most of them I would consider to be love stories. Now, the contention is, would like Disney Channel pick it up? Probably not.
That's the difference.
It's still a love story.
Yeah, but no one dies at the beginning.
No.
Right.
I think too, it depends, right? Like, if your parents have been together, then obviously you think it's a love story.
Sure.
But I mean, there's other situations where I think parents or the kids are well aware.
Yeah, they can pick up on the heat, so to speak.
Yeah.
1 in 3 dog owners say that their dog could survive in the wild without them. Not a doggone chance.
No. I mean, it depends how long you want to say survival is. 3 or 4 days, sure.
Yeah, he'd do fine for a couple days.
And then after that, dumbass would be ripped apart.
Right up until he couldn't find his kibble or his wet food. And then
I watched a show on it was one of those ones. Oh, it was just like basically the premise of the show was just people just disappear one day. There's no explanation why.
Right, I've seen those before.
And it shows you what happens. And it's like, like outside of a couple dog breeds, like basically they start eating the small ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like your dog is dog. I mean, he's domesticated. He's a dog.
Exactly. Right.
Ted's getting worked up.
I know.
No,
but they talk about things like, zoos starting to fail. So those animals get out and they're like, your pet's not going to do well.
Right. Listen, I love my pets. They're warm bodies inside of the house when I get home. Like, they have no survival instincts at this point other than to run. Yeah. I got one. You met the jerk cat. Like, he might be able to fend for himself, but honestly, you take him outside, he's terrified. He's
I feel
petrified.
like cats would do better than dogs. Overall.
Okay. I mean, simply the ability to climb.
They can climb. Their reflexes are faster. Just their instincts are a lot more intact. Than once you domesticate a dog, certain instincts kind of go away.
I'll be this dark guy. Birds of prey are going to have a day.
Oh my God, they love it.
That's right.
Birds of prey would have it.
I mean, look, I'll be dead honest with you. Like, throw me in that group. I couldn't survive in the wild.
Sure. Yeah, if the grid shut down and grocery stores weren't around. Now, then again, if I was the last guy on Earth, I would do great. I would do fine in the grocery stores. They got their freezer section.
But the power's out, man.
No, it's not. It's still
the power's out.
I got it.
All that refrigerated food you want spoiled, man. It's just gross. And keep in mind,
electric
you're now
bills
fighting other animals for the food in that grocery store.
Electric bills are a myth, man. They just keep the switch on. That's all.
That's the one thing that works. Mike still has electricity.
That's right. The internet still works.
He's still watching Netflix.
I can still watch Hulu. There's nothing new on, damn it. Oh, God.
That is kind of funny.
We talked about some parenting tactics here, and there's one generation that I feel seems more entitled to bestow upon us their parenting advice that, quite frankly, just doesn't work anymore. The world has changed without them.
Yes.
And they still give it to us. So let's just get down to it.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10. 10 terrible pieces of parenting advice baby boomers need to stop telling us. For example, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
I'd be silent always.
So what you're saying is, I should never have told Timmy that he was an arrogant piece of crap with an ego that couldn't back up his own stupidity. And he had puffy nipples. So, don't say that. Too late.
Oh, damn. Poor Timmy.
He's got puffy nipples.
Right. So this is terrible parenting advice, but that baby boomers just need to stop telling us. Do as I say, not as I do. It says, in today's world where children have a greater access to information and are encouraged to think critically, this approach is just not as effective.
I mean, you don't say
you're
it,
setting
but
an
you still
example.
mean it.
Yeah,
Like-
if you set an example, then you're not doing it.
I mean, look, I smoke cigarettes, drink whiskey.
Correct.
I don't care if my kids drink whiskey. I do now, but what I'm saying when they get older, but as far as smoking, I'm like, don't do it. When I'm like, if you do one thing for me, don't do that. You can be stupid. I don't care if you go to jail.
Same conversation.
Whatever. Just don't do this.
Don't smoke that cigarette at a party. You know, it's
Just don't do it.
I mean, I used that line when I was coaching JV at DeMatha.
Sure.
JV baseball. Like, I would tell some of the kids, I'm like, well, I wasn't very good at school either. But, like, do your homework. It's not worth it. You don't want to keep going to the counseling office.
There you
and
go.
Missing homeroom and stuff.
I go through it now with the kids, man. And, you know, the way they perceive me, it's, hey, your teacher never asked you, are you happy to do or if you want to do homework? What they said is, you need to get this done. You need to sit your ass down and get this homework done. Now, what they don't know about me, I never did homework when I was a kid.
Sure.
I refused to do it, and I had all kinds of reasons why.
But
I can't tell them that yet.
You guys are turning this bit of advice on its head, though. It's not do as I say, not as I do. It is learn from where I went wrong.
Don't do what I did.
Correct.
And listen to what I said.
This is why. Here's
Right.
the problem with doing what I did. Here's what doing what I did gets you. So
But the problem is-
it's not the end of the world, but it's like
it's not.
This is something that I don't want for you.
But my kids, they're like, you have a job that you love. You seem happy. Most of my other friends' parents,
not because of smoking.
you know, they hate right. So they're like, I want to do what you did because you ended up doing that. I'm like, yeah.
Everybody finds their own way is the thing.
I'm like, don't try to do it the way I did it. But yes, you're correct.
One of my favorite bits, and I was a proponent of this for a while, and I have backed off of that since then. You know, it tends to be from the concept of spanking. Everybody who grew up spanking, they always say the same bit of advice. Well, I turned out just fine.
It's like, that's your opinion.
Right.
Is this a consensus that other people they can sign the sheet? Because a lot of people don't think you turned out fine.
And you know what? I used to say that I turned out fine, and as far as generally speaking, I like to believe that I turned out fine. However, mentally, there's a lot of bags that are getting unpacked against my will.
Right.
It's like, oh, that wasn't good.
I've never hit my kids.
You know, I understand why, and it worked at the time. However, nowadays I'm having to pick up those pieces, which it's on me. I am a 30-year-old man. It's on me to pick up those pieces, but it's like there was a lot there that I could have gotten a little bit of a head start on had that not happened.
But here's the thing. Inevitably, and I don't care who you are, I don't care how good your parents are, at some point your kids will hold something against you.
Absolutely.
A buddy of mine put it best. He goes, man, Irish dude, right? And he goes, listen, he has one super grown kid. I think they're like 25. And he goes, here's the truth of it, man. He goes, for the entirety of the time that your children live with you, they're going to do 800,000 things wrong, and maybe 3, as in 3, period. There's going to be things that like bug you later on, right? If they defied your trust. But he goes, your kid, on the other hand, by the time they move out of your house, there are 30,000 things they hold against you.
You bet.
He goes, you can't win.
There is no right way to raise a child other than the fact that they are
Keep them
alive.
fed. Yeah,
right.
they're alive. You did it right.
They're alive by 18. You win. You did it right. Trust me, as Miles has said several times, they will let you know where you went wrong. They will let you know what you did wrong as you raise them.
had no idea.
I can't wait to find out.
No idea. Because everybody's also got a different personality. I know that's not a popular line of thinking as far as a handful of parents out there, but my dad raised all 3 of us kids the same way. All 3 of us turned out different ways. So there's some truth to the fact that people grow up with certain personalities.
That's guaranteed.
Environment has so much to do with anything, and it's where you were born in the lineup. It's what time you were born.
I mean, it's
all that
nature
stuff.
and nurture, man. Your nature is inherent to you. You're going to be who you're going to be.
Correct.
But how that is nurtured along the way.
Right.
You know, because I got to deal with each kid a little bit differently.
Do your best, man. That's all it is. That's all it is.
You know
do
what?
Your best.
Just do 85%.
Terrible parenting advice. Baby boomers need to stop telling us, stop crying. It's not a big deal. Says this advice dismisses children's emotions and can lead to feelings of invalidation and neglect. I have no idea what that means. Eat everything on your plate. This advice doesn't account for individual dietary needs and can encourage unhealthy eating habits. Don't know what that means at all. That doesn't mean that I just scarf everything on the plate.
It's a better chance of doing it if you give me food I like. And I realize that my parents set me up as a kid, right? Because I've never liked vegetables, whatever. So my mom Back in the day, one of her favorite things to make was tomato pie. And tomato pie is not like the frittata egg thing that you eat now. It was, picture a cherry pie, take out the cherries, replace it with tomatoes. It was pie crust full of
Is that a warm dish? Is it dinner?
It's a warm dish. It's disgusting, and it was dinner. So they would always do you can't leave the table until you finish the food on your plate. And I had no problem with this. I would sit at the kitchen table until bedtime. Then it occurred to me when I got older, it seemed like that tomato pie showed up one specific day of the week, and I believe that day of the week was also the night that one of their favorite shows came on TV. Knowing that I would not push back, because I had no problem just sitting at the table. I'll draw, whatever, but I'm not going to eat this crap, right?
Sure.
I will go to bed hungry. I'm okay with that. And they knew that. And when I looked back, I'm like, you sons of bitches. Whatever show it was that you watched and you didn't want your kids to bug you, that's the day that you serve this crap, because you, hey, we can get one of the kids out of our hair because he's just going to sit at the kitchen table.
Right. You need to toughen up. This advice can be seen as discouraging emotional expression and can lead to harmful coping mechanisms.
I guess, again, it depends on the generation you grew up in.
Correct.
It depends on the situation, too.
We have we all have our certain level of toughness, and we all have our certain methods and channels that we are able to get through different things.
Well, that's why I beat my kids with the bamboo stick each night. I found it has toughened them up.
It has.
Yeah. It's also weird as you don't know what the situation is.
Right.
There's frankly, there's sometimes my dad said it to me in sports, and he was exactly right. You know what I mean? Can't be afraid.
Dirt in and get back in there.
Or don't play the sport. So,
yeah. Just ignore the bullies. This advice doesn't address the issue of bullying and can actually make things worse for the victim. I don't deny that.
That's the thing about a bully. If you could ignore them, they're not a bully. They're annoying. A bully is someone you cannot ignore. You know what I mean? That's the difference.
Continue. They procrastinate.
Right.
They're proactive on
my dad told me.
And it doesn't end. All right? That's the bottom line. And I'm kind of glad we've slowed up on all the bullying stuff, because it's like, look, I don't agree with it, but it doesn't end. It's just going to be a different form as you get into an adulthood or whatever.
You bet.
So it's like, yeah, you got to deal with them.
Right.
My dad's advice, straight up, man, said punch them directly in the nose.
In the nose, yeah.
As hard as you. Fourth grade,
same advice.
I really, really did not want to do that because of how I perceived this particular kid was different than what he was.
Yep.
I remember I met. Almost cussed. Hit this child in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, he was still a bully, but not with me.
My dad gave me the advice as I was growing up. He says, if you ever get suspended defending yourself and you punch somebody in the nose, I'll take you out to the movies.
Yeah, anytime. Say the same thing to my kids.
We'll
if
go
you're defending yourself.
We will go have fun.
What are we watching? Rocky.
That's right. There you go.
Honestly, I want to see the Barbie movie. But I did hit that bully hard.
Don't talk to strangers shows up at number 2. It says, while it's important to teach children about safety, this advice can be too simplistic and not prepare children for real world situations where they may need to interact with strangers.
It is a little simplistic. When I was like 8 years old, I had to stay after school because, yes, I got in trouble. But we used to walk home, so we lived in Colorado. And this dude pulls up on the road beside me, rolls down his window, and says, hey, can I give you a ride home? And I knew not to talk to strangers. I didn't know the guy, so I said no. And I kept walking. Well, the car kept pacing me. So now I'm kind of freaking out a little.
Yeah.
But there was, and this is back in the days of old glass bottles. And I always remember it was a glass bottle of Dr. Pepper. It was empty. Someone had just thrown it out. And I threw this thing through the guy's window. Hit him straight in the head.
Nice.
And I took off running. And I run home. And when I get home, that guy's car is now in my driveway.
Uh-oh.
And I know the only person home is my mother. So, I mean, granted, I'm 8. But I went in like, I'm going to kill this dude.
You bet.
And he's sitting at our dining room table with my mother. And he has ice and a paper towel on the side of his head. And she's like, this is Mr. Jackson who works with your father, who was invited over for dinner. He realized who you were and was offering you a ride home. I'm like, I didn't know.
Did they give you any credit like, hey, good on you, that was the right move?
My father did. He's like, look, man. He's like, this is a friend of mine from work. And he understands.
Sure.
He goes, but I'm glad that's the decision you made.
And the final terrible parenting advice that baby boomers need to stop telling us: don't coddle your child. Says this advice can be interpreted as discouraging parents from showing affection or support for their children, which can be detrimental to their emotional well-being. At the end of the day, like I said, there is no right way to raise a child, and that is coming from somebody who doesn't have a kid.
And
so
you
don't
coddle your kid. Like I said, the rule in the house, when you wake up in the morning, if you're leaving for work or school, when we see each other after work or school, when you go to bed, everyone hugs. That is what we goddamn do, right? But after that, I'm calling her names. We're yelling at each other, right? But the hug is just, hey, we still love each other. I just sometimes want to feed you to a lion.
Get him to 18. A Nigerian man trying to break a world record ended up making himself temporarily blind, Miles.
Oh, my God. He must have been masturbating like a monkey.
I'll give you the full story at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line to profile this at 206-803-ROCK.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Imagine a world where health means more than going to the doctor's office. It's why we created a health insurance company that considers so much more. WellPoint. Your whole health is our whole point.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Can we manage to drinking time?
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Big time it is, and as usual, we head to see Drink Test and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we chose an unidentified couple from Tacoma, Washington. I hope they're listening. This story is ridiculous to me. So, a couple in Tacoma, Washington, they say that DoorDash had a glitch.
Yes.
And somehow, DoorDash pinned their home as a Popeyes location. So basically, dozens of drivers were showing up at all hours looking to pick up orders. And there's never been a restaurant there or anywhere even close. The nearest location is about 5 miles away. So they called DoorDash multiple times, but they were told, quote, that DoorDash didn't have the resources to fix it. So the couple finally, they called the local news. I believe they called Cairo, if I'm not mistaken. Well, a reporter at Cairo then tested it out by ordering some Popeyes from DoorDash. And sure enough, a driver came to their house to pick up the order, saying that this is what the app told them to pick up the food. Well, when the station finally called DoorDash did apologize for their earlier responses and did follow through. Turns out they did have the resources to fix it. And finally, people have stopped showing up at their house for fried chicken.
Jesse Jones.
I don't know. Is he on Cairo?
I don't know. Jesse Jones.
Same Either way, I'm glad, man. Listen, and couple, if you're listening, do you actually like Popeyes? Because if it's me,
I like Popeyes.
Okay, I like Popeyes.
I love Popeyes.
So
he is on Cairo.
DoorDash could have been Jesse Johnson. So I understand that DoorDash had the glitch, but I do feel like Popeyes should hook you up with food for a while.
Hell yeah. Give me a biscuit.
So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Justin. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Popeye's chicken's freaking awesome.
Yes, it is. Oh, no. Especially the Cajun.
All right, Justin, you understand how this here game is played?
Hey, sure do, Thrill.
Fantastic, bud. You got one choice of one of three stories. We have The Wonderful World of Drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem.
Let's go Ted's choice.
Animalize this.
What a jackass.
All right, California and federal wildlife officials have vowed to do everything possible to safely capture a creature that has been aggressively approaching surfers and kayakers near Santa Cruz. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services said they will do the best they can to capture the creature, which has been making news by biting surfers and exhibiting other aggressive behavior. Now, the animal was born at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, but it was released into the wild in 2021. And the organization says a team of capture specialists and the Monterey Bay Aquarium, they've been trying to catch the creature since July 2nd, but they have been unsuccessful. Now, the animal has been tagged with a radio transmitter, which allows its location to be tracked, but scientists believe that capturing an animal could take days or even weeks. Keep in mind, this started on July 2nd. It's July 19th. They still haven't caught it. The organization says that once the animal is captured, it will be taken back to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, where it will be examined before finding a permanent home at the aquarium or zoo, because releasing this thing into the wild, it's just not working out. So the question is, what is the animal that keeps attacking surfers near Santa Cruz? Is it a dolphin? Is it an orca? Is it a shark? Or is it an otter? So dolphin, orca, shark, or otter?
So I'm immediately thinking either dolphin or otter. But I'm really thinking that it's probably dolphin.
Dolphin. Justin, you going dolphin?
Yeah, I'm going to go with dolphin.
Specifically Tyreek Hill. He's been biting surfers.
I heard it was Tua.
Nah, he's got head problems.
Those head injuries can get you to him, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to go with otter.
Otter.
Because, I mean, I don't know.
Otter.
Dolphin seems too big, and otters could be real aggressive.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right, based on what's happening with the orca population around the world, I'm going to go orca. We're going to find out what they're warning people to stay away from. Is it a dolphin, an orca, a shark, or an otter next?
That was a tease.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories analyze this on Profile This. We got California wildlife official had warned surfers to stay away from an aggressive animal out there in the ocean.
The ocean, yeah.
So it was stealing everything from surfboards to boogie boards and everything else, paddle boards.
Biting people, attacking.
It was out there. It was going after it. Question is, was this animal a dolphin, an orca, a shark, or an otter?
And Justin, that is the question we posed to you. Let us start with Miles Montgomery. You went big. You went orca.
Orca, man. Why not?
No, man. They're just about boats in Spain.
I know.
They don't care about the surfboard so much. Justin, you went with the dolphin. Yeah, sorry, man. It was not a dolphin. Not a bad guess.
James.
Yes. Only black surfers are bitten. Beats Ed Smith. Chappelle Show. If you need reference, Chappelle Show. Ted, you went with an otter.
Otter.
You are correct.
Nice work.
Yeah, man, they look cute, but they're kind of mean little SOBs.
Yeah, apparently this son of a bitch. So he's raised at the aquarium. They release him into the wild. He decided to go to the ocean. And these people are getting messed up by this freaking thing, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Because the thing is, he's small enough to physically get on the board. You know, so a bigger animal, they'll attack the board, probably knock you off. This thing, these guys are surfing. And like, the otter's now on the board with you, attacking you while you're trying to surf.
Otter pop, a gangly gangster.
Yes.
Now for all TV news all the time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right. I've talked about, do you guys ever watch, and I started the same way every time, do you ever watch the station Vice?
Every once in a while. It depends on the show they have, but yeah. They have quality programming.
They used to. As far as I remember. They had that one late night show, the talk show.
Oh, yeah. They had Desus and Mero.
For a while, yeah.
Right, then they went to Showtime. Yeah. They're not even together anymore. But, right, so they used to have that, and, like, some of their shows are a little different, but they had Dark Side of the Ring, which was kind of the first incarnation of the series they had. Then they came out with Dark Side of Comedy, which I also thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's just heavy, but yeah, it's good.
So then they had Dark Side of the 90s. Well, now they have a new one.
Oh, boy. Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side of the 2000s.
Okay, all right.
Now, this one kind of hits a little more home because we were already on the air here talking about some of these shows. So the episode I watched last night, by the way, I know on a later episode they get into like Howard Stern and kind of the shock jock wars of the early 2000s. I am very much looking forward to that episode. Him and Mancow, there is no love lost there. So this one was about John and Kate plus 8.
Oh, God.
Correct. And as I was watching it and my frustration level was going on, I was like, why do they think that would work? And I thought, first thing I got to do is go in and say, Thrill, you were right on that one. I was dead wrong. We used to talk about it when I would do my TV segment. I was like, what's it matter? They're making some money. And then you're like, yeah, they're making money off their kids, which, after I watched this episode, yeah.
And to me, my wife watched it, right? I mean, she really enjoyed the show, whatever. And I get it. It's supposed to be the funny, how crazy it is to have 8 kids. And the thing that Kate Gosling always bothered me. I'm like, you can smell a bitch from a mile away, and she is one. Yeah, and I mean, it's like, she's not a good person. What was my particular point of view, which may or may not be correct, but certainly what she's put out into the world, I do not believe is particularly positive. But I kept saying to my wife, I said, look, man, if you're exploiting your kids to make money, it's different if it's a kid actor and they get a gig. You go, all right, not really exploited. This is a decision that they made that they want to do this. But I'm like, this kid didn't ask for this. This woman is cashing in on the fact that she had 8 kids. And I've never liked her. And the only other person who ranks up there with me on that, as far as who I know, is like Kris Jenner.
All right.
Right? You dimed out your daughter. You hoard her out when she's underage, and you signed off for a sex tape because you knew you'd make it. And obviously, they've done very well for themselves as a result of that. I just morally, and I don't have a whole lot of morals, but morally, I have an issue with that. I really do.
Well, Kate kept trying to be on more reality shows, kind of go her own way and do her own thing after the kids. We're like, at the same time, there was Octomom.
Mm-hmm.
So Octomom kind of just went away and raised her kids. Very
well,
successful.
but she had 8 kids.
She got into porn and other stuff
She
too.
did
but
at the time, yes.
But John and Kate plus 8. So here's the deal, right? Because and this shows you the real. I mean, the show's called The Dark Side. This shows you the legit dark side, right?
Yeah.
So on that show, basically, they were already broken up, right? They weren't really a married couple. We hear stories about this all the time where it's like, I've known couples like this. It's like you're basically just kind of living together.
Correct.
But you're not really together. But the show had become so popular for TLC that they were like, oh, you got to keep it going. So there was even like, I guess it was season 3 or season 4, they renewed their vows and everything. And John is like, I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't like it. They were in a very small town in Pennsylvania, which you got to keep in mind, Pennsylvania is a massive state. You know Philadelphia, you know Pittsburgh, but as throw a little test, there is a lot of little small towns.
It is
in that
made
state.
up of small towns.
So it's a 5-hour drive, 4-hour drive from Pittsburgh to Philly. So everything in the middle is filler.
So there was this famous picture of like John Gosling coming out of, or was in in a local establishment with some other woman, comes out and they take a picture of him. And then they cuts to his interview nowadays, and he's like, yeah, I look like a deer in the headlights. He's like, there's never paparazzi. So he's like, I am shocked. And he's like, the poor woman I was with is like, he's like, yeah, we were flirtatious. He's like, we worked together, though. She knew, like, everybody kind of knew the deal with me and Kate if you lived in the town.
Sure.
So then finally, he's just like, I don't want to do it anymore. But Kate is like, and TLC's like, we got to keep filming. So they come over to his house one day as he had moved out, and he just puts a sign on the door that says, no more filming. I don't want my kids. When they're here, I don't want them on the TV. Well, TLC, of course, this is, again, I'm glad people could see this, is the dark side of any entertainment venue or avenue. They're like, oh, okay, well, that's a breach of contract.
Yep.
Take them, so it's like, you can't be on TV for 10 years. You could never come out and say your side of the story. You can't do this. You can't do that. Basically, you can't almost even have contact with your children. And you're right. Now, at this point, Kate go along with it. She tried to, and then it was Kate plus 8.
Yep.
Nobody really cared. Then it's Dancing with the Stars, this and that.
Then she got like a gig on one of the morning.
She was on everything she could be on, but nobody really cared because the show, I don't know how. I never watched it. I don't know if he was that much more exciting. But the show really only worked with 2 parents and the kids.
No, she had no personality.
Right. So
that's not even a criticism. It's just an observation because they gave her. She was handed some of the sweetest gigs in broadcasting. It was either Today or Good Morning America, one of those. But even when they gave her like just the real,
no one liked her. That was the problem. No one liked her,
and she had no personality.
And so after this, like she's raising the kids, but like. They're all getting raised a little different. She puts one kid in an institution, and the John guy, he can't even find his kid. Nobody will tell him. They call the institution. They're like, well, legally, we can't tell you because of this agreement or whatever. I mean, it's a wild story. So now, so finally he finds out where his son is, and out of state in another facility, goes through the legal, stuff. So basically he's like, look, I spent $1 million. I spent every dime I had. And look, they made a bunch of money when they were doing the show. And he, like anybody else, he was like, look, I was late 20s, early 30s. It seemed like easy. It seemed awesome. But he spent it all to get the kid back. Then one of the other daughters ends up coming to live with him as they don't want to live with the mom anymore. But it's still messed up. She wouldn't do a single interview for this special, and they asked her.
Because she's terrible.
Right, and the son that had left was like, she used to abuse me and everything else. The other kids, he was in a car accident and was died. The other kids won't even talk to him. So it's like, I will say, she comes off bad, but there's other stuff there too, and it's like, even the show kind of ended.
Doesn't
like,
reality television come off worse?
Oh,
or in this instance, on that one show.
But they kind of just summed it up where it's like, you still really don't know what happened. And that's true in most homes, right? True. It's always hard to judge any family because
but we don't know what on TV is the difference where you have millions of people wondering what happened. And like I said, I thought she was a horrible human being just from the jump. And like I said, my wife watched the show, and I'm just like, man, I'm telling you, she's not a good person. And like I said, when you exploit kids for your own personal gain, I have a serious issue with it.
Well, and remember, after that show ended, when she popped back up, they had taken her to a stylist, gave her extensions, this and that. That was the whole thing.
And but she still sucked.
She did. And that's the other thing, too, I think I took away from that, right? Because, like, there's just a lot of people like that are completely different, one way or the other. She somehow managed to piss everybody. And I respect, he was like, look, I went back to work in IT. Yeah. And he's like, you should have seen some of the looks on people's faces when I would come to their desks to work on their computers. Now she lives in North Carolina with the other 6 kids. They still don't talk to them. And I guess she's working or something. But yeah, I was like, why would you at least go on the special to defend yourself a little bit? But
I don't think she can, is the thing. Because the thing is, if you're going to do a televised kind of thing and you go to defend yourself on whatever accusations or whatever things have been said, if your belief is that more people can corroborate the other side, you don't want to go out there.
If you're guilty.
If you go out there and say, right, that's why people plead the fifth, etc. It's self-incrimination. There's no other self-incrimination. That's the only thing that it means. I know I'm guilty. I'm not going to tell you that. And that's fine. You got the right to do that. But I get the feeling that she's like, I can't defend. I'm an a-hole. People don't like me.
Also, since the late night shows are off, I've been working on this joke for 2 days.
Oh, man. 2 days.
Yep.
Are you delivering this like it's late night? Like you're a late night host?
Like, should we get some music?
No, it's a simple one.
Oh,
okay. It's just been announced that Big Brother is going to have a 25th anniversary special starring Terry Crews.
Big Brother. Yeah. It's right. Big Brother.
No, they're going to have a real Big Brother 25th anniversary special.
It's just Terry Crews and Big Rames. Big Brother.
Right. Big Rames was the other one I was thinking of.
We think of a Big Brother like that's a Big Brother.
Walter Jones coming.
That's coming up next week on CBS. It'll actually catch up with some of your fan favorite house guests. I didn't really watch the show, so I don't know a ton of them. I could give you the names, but you'd have to be a Big Brother fan to check that out. If you have Apple TV, you can watch MLS All-Stars take on Arsenal tonight. I get it. I'm an Arsenal fan. If I was living in that area, I'd go see the game. I guess our All-Stars should beat them. They're like in spring training. I guess you call it summer training.
All right. So it's like their summer league team. So to
yeah, that's what the English clubs do, right? Because the Premier League will start playing here towards the middle of August. So they're on their preseason right now. But a lot of times the preseason tour will be missing a lot of first team players. That's why Wrexham's playing like Manchester United, I think, right now in North Carolina. Okay. So they're kind of touring around. But if you're an MLS fan, it'd be good to see all your favorite players.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Chicago family is surprised when an airplane's emergency slide falls on their roof. Meanwhile, an Ohio man doing donuts in front of a police station sees his license go poof. A statue of a bird with big boobs has one Massachusetts town upset. Man who entered a cry-a-thon still can't see right just yet. An Iowa man is arrested trying to steal a wagon full of corn. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cock.
All right, our top story. We go to Nigeria, where a man attempted to set a world record. He's known online under the username 237Town Crier and began building a following on TikTok regarding his efforts to set the world record for continuous crying.
For continuous cry. That's something he wanted to do.
Yeah, that's he's like, I'm going to do this. I'm very good at crying. I'm going to set the record. His goal was to sob for 100 hours straight, and live streamed his efforts where he was blubbering next to a running timer that at the time of the story showed an early 2 hours and 7 minutes. So he had a long way to go.
God, man.
The story doesn't detail if he got anywhere near his goal or if he contacted Guinness, but what we do know is that the result of the challenge left him blind for about 45 minutes.
Was it worth it, man?
There's so much pressure on your head and behind your eyes and all the liquid that's going into your eyes that after a while your eyes just quit working.
What? Why was he crying?
It just
because he wanted to break the record. So
Right.
I guess he just thought of every bad thing that ever happened in his life.
And he was also soliciting problems that people were having so that he could cry for them. But to be honest with you, I'm just too tough to cry, Ted. I couldn't will myself.
2 hours of crying's a lot of crying.
You
want to cry. If you need to cry, cry. I have nothing against people crying, men, women, kids.
Absolutely.
2 hours?
2 hours.
Man he needs a different hobby.
After 2 hours, like, you can still be sad and down about something, but I'm out after 2 hours.
2 hours of cryathon.
Yeah, right? God, I'm exhausted after 10 minutes. Shoot. In other news, to Chicago for an odd story. A man tells the tale of how he was sitting in his kid's home with his grandchild, having lunch when the pair heard a loud bang, indicating that something had landed on the house. They both rushed outside and found a large inflatable slide hanging on the off of the roof. They pulled the piece of equipment down and surmised that it was an emergency slide from a plane. They called authorities who arrived along with the FAA and confirmed that it had fallen off a United flight bound for O'Hare. A couple representatives for the airline arrived shortly after and retrieved the slide. Nobody was injured in the incident, but there was minor damage to the roof.
You don't think as a pilot, you have this thing, because it's attached to the plane.
Correct.
So the wind obviously blew that thing off.
Right.
Like ripped it off. But as a pilot, you would have to know that you have that much drag coming from an area.
For a second, right?
Even if this thing just accidentally deployed. As far as the drag goes and how it pulls the plane, that guy knew what happened.
And I don't know where on the plane they come out. I know that it's supposed to, when you hit the water, the slide just bam, they're just out there. But I agree. At some point, you have a tug for a minute that rips that bad boy off of there, especially on landing. And maybe
that tells me that turbulence is just as severe as you dragging something, as far as just the severity.
Well, and keep in mind this was in Chicago and they were bound for O'Hare, so maybe it's because when they were landing, it's. I will assume it's a little bit choppier air, and you're kind of adjusting for everything as you go in. So maybe that hit it a little bit. But
every time somebody jumps out of those things and deploys them, it's like $10,000, $20,000.
Yeah, it's so expensive.
Oh, man. To just replace the slide.
Right.
I just hope that plane did not need the emergency slide.
Are they filled with the same gas that's like in an airbag?
I don't know.
Anybody that has ever experienced an airbag deployment, you can't breathe in your car after that goes on, and it's an expensive fix. Not you got the gas in there, and you got to compact the bag in there. So I wonder if that's part of it as well, because this thing needs to inflate now if you're landing in the water. So that might be part of the expense there.
I like when they tell us, to get on a flight, and they go, and I get it, they have to do all the federal regs.
Sure,
but in the event of a water landing, I'm flying from Seattle to Baltimore.
Right.
We're not landing in water.
There's not a whole lot of water.
What we will do is called crash. If I'm flying to Hawaii, yes, bring it up if you need to. But we're not flying over water, guys. That's not an issue. Why do we have to add another 90 seconds to this?
I also want to know.
You might hit a lake.
Flight attendants, when you're asking people if they're willing to jump in there and help in the emergency exit, how many people do you actually believe? That's my question. That's it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the return of Big Dummy. And the head chef is back with Ted's Meat and Potatoes. The lovely Taryn Daly is up next.
Yes, indeed. It is all true. But in the meantime, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation.